Police Civilian Oversight Authority will be hosting its awards ceremony for Area 2 Transforming Our Police Services TOPS competition on Wednesday, November 27, 2024. The TOPS program, established in 2019, is aimed at increasing compliance with Jamaica Constabulary Force policies and procedures. Additionally, the program seeks to boost the morale of police officers. The program is comprised of 4 phases: the TOPS Area Competition, the TOPS Area Award Ceremony, Area Performance Review Meeting, and Re-Inspection. Join Cliff Hughes online from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. as we broadcast live from the TOPS Award Ceremony, Wednesday, November 27, 2024, only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast.
Christmas starts here at H&L Rapid True Value. Get Christmas ready by shopping the latest in our catalog. The time brought to you by H&L Rapid True Value is...
Nationwide time, 5 o'clock.
Crisp and refreshing. Room temperature or chilled. A pure water would drink. The temperature by Pure Water is...
29 degrees Celsius in Kingston and out west in Montego Bay.
From the Nationwide News Network, comprehensive, incisive, tough. This is Nationwide at 5.
Good afternoon, I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Robian Williams.
In Nationwide News at this hour, the 6 schoolboys seen in a viral video sexually assaulting a 13-year-old girl have been slapped with multiple charges.
And the CPFSA says the girl is set to undergo a medical examination.
The child was referred to the Victim Services Division for additional support, and she's also to receive a medical assessment today.
Education Minister Dr. Dana Morris Dixon has condemned this morning's bomb threat at Meadowbrook High in St. Andrew.
The government intends to send officers into communities to find children who've been repeatedly absent from school.
The TAJ says more than 200,000 Jamaicans will receive payment from the government's reverse income tax credit this month.
In news from the rest of the world, prominent Haitian politician condemns French president for calling leaders total morons.
Special prosecutor drops federal criminal cases against Donald Trump.
In headline sports, West Indies closing in on victory in first test against Bangladesh.
And later in our broadcast, in the cover story at 5:35, the dust is settling on the Jamaica Labour Party's 81st annual conference. The party says it represented substance over hype. But how did young Jamaicans receive the message? A group of millennial men will tell us.
In public opinion at 6:26, we ask your reaction to the planned reduction in GCT on light bill. Give us your comments by logging on to our Facebook page, Nationwide News Network, and by tweeting us at Nationwide Radio and message us on WhatsApp at 876-285-5693. You can also leave your comments on Instagram at Nationwide 90 FM.
In the nation's business at 6:40, a planned reduction in the rate of general consumption tax GCT on electricity was announced at the JLP's conference yesterday. What does it mean for small business owners? President of the MSME Alliance, Antoinette Hamilton, President of the Small Business Association of Jamaica, Garnet Reed, and the Managing Director of Home Choice Enterprise Limited, Karima Munsi, will tell us. All these and more as we take you home on air on your mobile, Nationwide 90 FM, nationwideradiojm.com, and on the Nationwide app, available on the Google Play and the App Store. This Monday afternoon, it's Monday, November 25, 2024.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
Now to the details. The teen boys seen in a viral video sexually assaulting a 13-year-old girl have been charged with several offenses. The charges include rape, forcible abduction, knowing and producing child pornography, and distributing child pornography. The update was provided today by the Child Protection and Family Services Agency, the CPFSA. Khaleesi Wright reports.
The 6 boys involved in the sexual assault of the 13-year-old girl remain in custody. Chief Executive Officer of the Child Protection and Family Service Agency, Laurette Adams Thomas, says The girl is set to undergo a medical examination.
We were made aware of the video early Saturday morning on the 23rd of November 2024. Our investigating team located the young girl and her family and met with them on Sunday, November 24th, and provided brief counseling. The child was referred to the Victim Services Division for additional support, and she's also to receive a medical assessment today. And we will continue to work with the family through our Children and Family Support Unit.
The CPFSA says based on investigations, the male students allegedly lured the girl to a house where she was sexually assaulted. The incident was also filmed and shared on social media. The Jamaica Constabulary Force is urging members of the public to refrain from sharing the video to prevent further traumatizing the victim. It says sharing such content may also constitute a breach of the Child Pornography Prevention Act and can result in imprisonment. Gender Minister Olivia Grange has condemned the heinous act of violence. She's demanding swift justice for the victim. Education Minister Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon has also condemned the incident and is pledging her ministry's full support to the victim and her family. She says the ministry stands ready to provide counseling and psychosocial support to those affected by the traumatic event. Mrs. Adams Thomas says maladaptive behaviors in the nation's schools and communities must not be condoned.
We strongly condemn this despicable act that was meted out to this young girl. The levels of violence we continue to see being displayed by our children are of grave concern, and sadly this also seems to be a reflection of the violence and disrespect towards women and girls that permeate our society. We need to do more now to protect our children and future. These kind of maladaptive behaviors in our schools and communities must not be condoned, and we must teach our boys that masculinity is not synonymous with abuse.
She's urging citizens to report any and all forms of child abuse using the 24-hour child abuse reporting hotline 211. Khaleesi Wright for Nationwide News.
Education Minister Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon has condemned Monday morning's bomb threat at Meadowbrook High School in St. Andrew. Classes at the school were dismissed at 10:45 after a bomb threat was made. Security personnel, including the Jamaica Fire Brigade, responded to the scene shortly after. The minister described the incident as part of a troubling series of similar threats that have impacted different entities. She says bomb threats have a serious impact on the educational environment by disrupting the flow of teaching and learning, which in turn causes delays to students and staff. Minister Morris-Dixon says bomb threats also create unnecessary trauma that affects the mental health of all persons involved. The Education Ministry is urging the public to remain vigilant and report any suspicious activities to the relevant authorities. The ministry says it remains committed to working with the Jamaica Constabulary Force and other agencies to bring those responsible to justice.
Very happy. That's how the Energy Minister Darrell Vaz is feeling following Prime Minister Andrew Holness's announcement of an upcoming reduction in the General Consumption Tax GCT on electricity from 15% to 7%. Minister Vaz credited the work of Finance Minister Favour Williams for making the plan a reality.
Minister Williams has worked tirelessly since she came in, taking over from Minister Clark, to look at this and several other areas in terms of how we can assist to ease the inflation burden that is being imposed on the people in terms of cost of electricity and food prices, etc. So I'm happy that we are moving in this direction now, which is to make sure that the people of Jamaica benefit from the gains that we have made and the years of sacrifice that they have made. So, to say it in one word, I'm very happy.
The announcement was one of a series made by the Prime Minister during his speech at the JLP's 81st Annual Conference at the National Arena. He says this change is slated for implementation after the next budget cycle in March 2025. Minister Vaz says it was a move he had advocated for in order to bring relief to Jamaicans.
I'm truly elated about the announcement made by the Prime Minister yesterday. This is a matter that I've been pushing very hard in terms of relief for the JPS customers. But as you know, we have to be fiscally responsible. So it was a matter of what methodology could you use to get the maximum benefit and, of course, afford it.
Darrell Vaz, the Energy Minister.
The Electoral Office of Jamaica EOJ says it has completed the final counting of ballots for the quartet of parliamentary and divisional by-elections held last Friday. Mahiri Stewart reports.
The divisional by-elections were held in Morant Bay in East St. Thomas and Ainon Town in North Clarendon. Parliamentary by-elections were in South Trelawney and Northwest St. Andrew. Following the close of polls, it emerged that the opposition People's National Party secured victory for both the Ainon Town and Morant Bay divisions. In an update on Monday, the EOJ says the PNP's Delroy Dawson won by 54 votes against the JLP's Suzette Barton. It says Dawson polled 1,640 votes to Barton's 1,586. Meanwhile, the PNP's Rosemary Shaw won the Morant Bay division by 126 votes against the JLP's Winston Dowie. Shaw secured 2,100 votes to her opponent's 1,974. The Jamaica Labour Party JLP secured the two uncontested parliamentary seats. For South Trelawney, the JLP's Marissa Dalrymple Philibert returns as Member of Parliament, winning 4,153 votes. That's just over 2,700 more votes than independent candidate Lloyd Gillings, who polled 1,440. In Northwest St. Andrew, the JLP's Dwayne Smith won by 1,747 votes against independent candidate Carl Marshall. Smith amassed 1,857 votes, while Marshall garnered 110. Mahiri Stewart for Nationwide News.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness says his government intends to send officers into communities to find the children who have been repeatedly absent from school. Speaking at the Jamaica Labour Party's 81st annual conference on Sunday, Holness says the rates of truancy being recorded are troubling.
It is in all our interests to have all our children in school. I have asked the Minister of Education to strengthen, refocus, and re-emphasize the capacity of the Ministry of Education in truancy. Every education officer is effectively a truancy officer, and the law provides for the deputizing of appropriate personnel as truancy officers. I have asked the Minister of Education to establish specific truancy officers in all regions. They must go out after examining their register and see who is not attending, knock on those doors, find those students who are not attending school and bring them back to school. The government stands ready to provide the support for those students. We cannot allow students to be out of school.
Truancy is the practice of staying away from school without permission or a valid reason. Meanwhile, the Prime Minister says he's extremely concerned about the reemergence of auxiliary fees. In 2007, the then Education Minister Andrew Holness announced a free tuition initiative throughout the school system to ensure access to education. At the time, Holness stressed that there should be no excuse for parents not sending their children to school. He reiterated his stance on Sunday.
We believe that every child deserves to access education right up to the highest level. So it really pains my heart as I move around and I hear parents complaining about fees. I understand that the cost that the schools face to provide quality education can be expensive. I understand that. But I want to remind school administrators that non-payment of fees should never prevent a child from accessing education. Under this government, no child will be denied access to education due to financial constraints.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness. You're listening to the news on Nationwide at 5. We'll have more after these.
Value Drug Pharmacy offers curbside pickup and delivery of your branded and generic drugs. WhatsApp your prescription to 876-881-6695. The time by Value Drug Pharmacy is...
It's 13 minutes after 5.
Rentokil Initial is the expert in pest control, air purification and hygiene services. Call today 876-926-4236.
The temperature by Rent-A-Kill is
29 degrees Celsius in Kingston and also out west in Montego Bay.
Outperform, outlast. With top performance. Jackama. Reliable, full stop, not comma. We have the expertise for drilling and demolition. We have the power tools for plumbers and electricians. Fancy select tools, free parts and free repairs. Free parts, free repairs. 2 to 3 years. Hilton, available at Delta Supply, 106 Hagley Park Road. Call us at 876-302-61114. Delta Supply, we service what we sell.
Continuing the news, Prime Minister Holness says his administration supports tourism workers who've protested against poor working conditions and low wages in recent weeks. Hospitality workers from at least 4 hotels have mounted protests demanding improved treatment and compensation. Prime Minister Holness expressed his administration's commitment to resolving the issues at hand by acknowledging their concerns.
We must protect the tourism industry and ensure that it continues to grow in a sustainable way. We support the workers of the tourism industry as they seek fair compensation and better work conditions. We will do our part to facilitate negotiations and to ease the cost of living burden on the workers in the tourism industry as we favorably examine the relief of taxes and tips and make a final announcement in the next budget.
Prime Minister Holness was addressing the 81st annual conference of the Jamaica Labour Party on Sunday at the National Arena. In a related announcement, Mr. Holness revealed that craft vendors operating in government-owned craft markets will receive waivers for December and January.
To lighten the burden that they are currently facing, the government will waive fees for all craft vendors in government-owned craft markets for the months of December and January, and we will write off any outstanding fees owed by the craft vendors. This is designed to ease the economic burden on the craft vendors and give them a head start in the winter tourist season that is up and coming now. The craft vendors of St. Anne have been hit the hardest because of the damage to the Ocherius cruise ship pier. As such, I have instructed that the waiving of fees for the craft vendors in St. Anne will extend until June of next year when the pier is set to reopen.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness.
Meanwhile, acting president of the Jamaica Craft Traders and Producers Association, Devon Mitchell, welcomed the announced waiver of fees. He says the initiative aims to provide much-needed relief to vendors struggling with declining sales.
This level of initiative and just from the Prime Minister has been highly appreciated from the craft sector right across Jamaica. I have gotten the chance, to speak to some of the president, from, Montego Bay, Kingston and Ocherius. And all of them has been very, very excited because this has been a situation within almost every market presently where it was somewhat difficult for craft traders, to even pay their rent because of the crisis that they're facing right now.
He notes that craft vendors, particularly in Ocherius St. Anne, have been overwhelmed by the sharp decline in business activity at local markets. The government has extended the waiver for craft vendors in St. Anne until June 2025, a move Mitchell says has been met with gratitude from those affected.
We all know that the disaster that have taken place over by the ship pier, where it has hampered craft traders within this vicinity from going on the ship pier where they can earn something, to take care of themselves and their family. So when the Prime Minister make an announcement like that and the traders get the understanding that something like that have taken place and they're excited over it. Sometimes it's not the big things, sometimes it's small things of this type of nature. Why, can really create a level of transformation within even the industry that we are all in right now.
Devon Mitchell, acting president of the Jamaica Craft Traders and Producers Association.
Tax Administration of Jamaica, TAJ, says more than 200,000 Jamaicans will receive disbursement from the government's reverse income tax credit RITC this month. The total payout will amount to $4.3 billion. Eligible individuals earning less than $3 million will receive a one-time payment of $20,000. This will bring the total number of individuals who have so far benefited from the tax giveback to nearly 300,000 Jamaicans. Total payout under the initiative now amounts to $5.8 billion. The latest payouts are scheduled for disbursement this week. It will include payments to clients of National Commercial Bank and Scotiabank who experienced delays earlier in the process. Beneficiaries will receive a notification via email or SMS text message when the disbursement is made. TAJ says subsequent payments are scheduled to take place in December and January in keeping with the government's projection. Eligible individuals who have not applied are being reminded that the deadline for submission of RITC applications is December 2, 2024. The RITC is designed for individuals including self-employed, pay-as-you-earn employees, pensioners and domestic workers who earn less than $3 million annually and have completed their tax filings for the 2023 calendar year by August 31, 2024.
World in a Minute is brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose assembly and supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology, and integrity.
The World in a Minute.
A member of Haiti's Transitional Presidential Council has publicly criticized the French President Emmanuel Macron for his comments calling the Caribbean country's leaders total morons. Macron was caught on film making the remarks on the sidelines of the G20 meeting in Brazil earlier this month. He criticized the Transitional Council's decision to abruptly oust Prime Minister Gary Conilly after only 6 months, saying they're total morons. Macron continued saying they never should have dismissed him. But in a statement on Sunday, the council's former president said Macron had insulted an entire nation living through dark times. In his statement, he said the French president did not hesitate to interfere in a matter that essentially concerns the Haitian authorities by declaring that he supported the former Haitian prime minister, and that the latter was formidable.
In the U.S., Special Counsel Jack Smith has asked judges to dismiss a federal election interference case and a classified documents case against Donald Trump as he's set to become the next U.S. president. In new documents filed on Monday, Smith told the judges the cases should be closed because of a Justice Department policy that bans the prosecution of a sitting president. Trump had pleaded not guilty in both cases. One is related to his efforts to overturn his 2020 election loss to President Joe Biden, and the other is related to his handling of sensitive files once he left the White House. A judge must sign off on both cases for them to be officially dismissed. In a statement, Trump's team said the move to end the cases was a major victory for the rule of law. Attorney General Merrick Garland appointed Smith in 2022 to take over the 2 federal investigations into Trump's conduct. The request to dismiss Trump's election subversion case marks an end to a lengthy legal saga.
World in a Minute was brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose assembly and supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology, and integrity.
Recapping the top stories making nationwide news at this hour, the 6 schoolboys seen in a viral video sexually assaulting a 13-year-old girl have been slapped with multiple charges.
And the CPFSA says the girl is set to undergo a medical examination.
The Education Minister has condemned this morning's bomb threat at Meadowbrook High in St. Andrew.
The government intends to send officers into communities to find children who've been repeatedly absent from school.
I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Robianne Williams.
Listeners, you can find the news on our website at nationwideradiojm.com and on the Nationwide app, available on the Google Play and the App Store. News next, the headlines at 6.
Shocks Depot is having a pre-Christmas clearance sale with massive discounts on all shocks and struts for all vehicles. Installation and wheel alignment available, plus warranty on all shocks and struts. Contact or visit Shocks Depot at 79 Hagley Park Road. Telephone 876-649-0238 and call or WhatsApp 876-509-0076. Shocks Depot. Our products are durable, comfortable, and affordable.
Jamaica, let's spread the word around to let the world know that we are proud to be one republic. We on the road to republic. Well then, let's propel we nation, moving forward in a new direction. True independence, that's the projection. No more dependency, it's the best plan. Yes, we know what's best for us, cause we want we country prosperous. So make we just pull together as the general public while on the road to republic. Jamaica, let's spread the word around to let the world know that we are proud to be one republic. We on the road to republic.
A message from the Ministry of Legal and Constitutional Affairs.
We on the road to republic.
Total Tools is having a Black Friday sale weekend! Sale, sale, sale! Up to 50% off select items, major discounts on tools, accessories, lighting, and electrical supplies. All Black Friday weekend long, Thursday, November 28 to Saturday, November 30. Move fast, only while stocks last. Visit Total Tools Kingston, Ocho Rios, or Drax Hall. Total Tools, we've got you totally covered.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Sports here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Wayne Walker. Mullines United and Racing are 0-0 after 20 minutes in their match in their Ray and Nephew Premier League game at the Tony Spalding Sports Complex. It's part of match day 11. In the second game of the doubleheader at 7:45, Arnott Gardens can join Waterhouse at the top of the table if they've beat Vere United. Cavalier will host Cibao of the Dominican Republic in the first leg final of the CONCACAF Club Caribbean Cup at the National Stadium tomorrow. Cavalier finished first in Group A with a 3-0 and 1-0 defeat, while Cibao recorded three wins and a draw to top Group B. So for Cavalier, it was 3 wins and 1 defeat. Cavalier finished runners-up in 2023, losing 3-0 on aggregate to SV Robin Hood. The Jamaican team returns to the final for a second consecutive edition, following a 7-0 victory over Real Hope FC. That's on aggregate. The West Indies are closing in on victory over Bangladesh in the first cricket test at the Sir Vivian Richards Stadium in Antigua. When stumps were drawn to close day 4, Bangladesh, batting a second time, reached 109 for 7, still 225 runs away from avoiding defeat. Captain Mahedi Hassan Miraz, 40, and Lighton Das, 22, are so far the leading batters. Kemar Roach and Jaden Seals are so far taken 3 wickets apiece for the West Indies. Earlier, the Windies were bowled out for 152 in their second innings. Alec Athanaze, 42, Craig Brathwaite, 23, and Joshua De Silva, 22, the leading batters. Taskin Ahmed picked up 6 for 64, with Mahedi Hassan Miraz bagging 2. Scores in the game so far: West Indies 450 for 9 declared and 152. Bangladesh 269 for 9 declared and 109 for 7. Roach says the bowlers rescued the second innings after the failure of the batsmen.
We wanted some more runs with the bat, but I think as a bowling group, as I said, a very highly skillful bowling group. I think the communication was good. Once we started well with the ball, that comes from me and Jaden. Once we started off the ball, probably get 1 or 2 wickets up front, I think we're going to be in the game for the rest of the days. So I think the guy that expressed himself well today is obviously tough, not much rest. We had a very long first innings, but to come back in this evening, and obviously the way we bowled, fantastic. And I want to praise the bowling group, the communication, the enjoyment we have. It's a good working unit, and I'm happy to be a part of it.
Kemar Roach. West Indies players went largely unsold on the final day of the Indian Premier League IPL draft in Saudi Arabia on Monday. Of the 22 West Indies players who entered the draft, only 4 were picked up: Rovman Powell, Shafin Rutherford, Shemar Joseph, and Romario Shepherd. Powell was sold to the Kolkata Knight Riders for US $95,000, and he will join forces with Andre Russell and Sunil Narine, who were retained by the franchise. Shepherd was bought by the Royal Challengers Bengaluru for $178,000. Shamar Joseph was picked up by the Lucknow Super Giants for $50,000 and would play alongside Nicholas Puran, who was retained. Rutherford was the most expensive. He went to the Gujarat Titans for $300,000. Among the West Indians who went unsold were Brandon King, Alzari Joseph, Akil Hussain, and Carl Mears. The 2025 Indian Premier League is set to get underway on March 14, 2025. And finally, the Sunshine Girls team defensive specialist Rob Wright and the head coach of the England Roses, Jessica Thirlby, are excited for the start of Game 3 of the Vitality Netball Horizon Series at the National Indoor Sports Centre this evening at 6:30. The first game ended 49-all. England won the second 55-47. And Wright says the series is part of the Sunshine Girls' quest to be number one in the world.
We're here to win. We don't play to go or we want to lose. We, like Jess's team, we want to be number one in the world. I truly believe that the group, and you mentioned a number of them, and Jess has mentioned a number of them, we have world-class players across the court, and on our day, we can beat anyone in the world, but we can't do it consistently. So, but our aim, like Jess, is to be one in the world and make no bones about it. That's our aim, and we see this partnership with England, which is awesome, because this is going to help us big time.
Rob Wright, Thirlby expecting a carnival-style atmosphere.
We've told them lots of stories. We told them the conditions will be very different to back home. It will make England look very conservative in comparison. It will be like a festival, and we hope it will be like that, a carnival. The crowd will be unapologetically in support of the Sunshine Girls, and I think over the years, I think the Jamaicans really rise to that. You know, a very emotive team combined with the talent that they've now got. And I think inevitably, you've seen it in these opening two games, you know, we stretch a lead to 4, 5 or 6, and within seconds, you know, we're back to a one-goal game, and we know that they're capable of that. So I think both teams trying to get out in front is obviously going to be quite a high priority, and then being able to maintain and build on a lead is something that we want to try and improve upon.
That's Jess Thirlby, head coach of the England national netball team. And that will do it for sports. We're going to be back with more at 6:05 this evening.
Since 2016, 156,000 more Jamaicans are working. This is more than any other time in our history. Your government is caring for you. The time brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister is
5:31.
I don't have no time for whole heap of paperwork. That's why I downloaded and signed up for my OneJN Passport app. Get it all in one go. Download and sign up now. The temperature by the OneJN Passport app is
29 degrees Celsius here in the nation's capital, Kingston. It's 27 in the western city, Montego Bay.
Here at Aslan Super Center, you can fill your Christmas list.
It's 4 weeks till Christmas. And Aslan Supercenter has everything you need to start your shopping now. Choose from our wide selection of decorations, lights, and Christmas trees. And don't forget to stop by this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for our 3-day pre-Christmas sale. And we're now open every Sunday till Christmas.
So this Christmas, make it Aslan Supercenter for sure.
It's a lifestyle.
Unique Living's new arrivals are here. Revamp your space with sleek, fixed and sliding show panels, shower systems and faucets, stylish vanities, basins and kitchen sinks, closet and storage solutions, hanging aids, and more. Available in different finishes and sizes to match your style. Visit them today and transform your space at shop number 630 Dunrobin Avenue, Kingston 10. Call 876-755-3661 or visit their website at uniquelivingja.com to shop.
Are you ready to turn your sales and marketing skills into high earnings? Nationwide 90 FM is searching for business development executives to help us grow our business and build lasting client relationships. If you have experience across all stages of the sales cycle and possess strong communication, negotiation, and time management skills with a proven sales track record, this opportunity is perfect for you. Join our team and work with the top corporate brands, media agencies, and of course, our on-air personalities. Enjoy networking opportunities, professional growth, and competitive commissions. Ready to take the next step? Send your resume to HR@nationwidenewsnetwork.com today. The
Police Civilian Oversight Authority will be hosting its awards ceremony for Area 2 Transforming Our Police Services TOPS competition on Wednesday, November 27, 2024. The TOPS program, established in 2019, is aimed at increasing compliance with Jamaica Constabulary Force policies and procedures. Additionally, the program seeks to boost the morale of police officers. The program is comprised of 4 phases: the TOPS Area Competition, the TOPS Area Award Ceremony, Area Performance Review Meeting, and Re-Inspection. Join Cliff Hughes online from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. as we broadcast live from the TOPS Award Ceremony, Wednesday, November 27, 2024, only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by Police Civilian Oversight Authority.
Do you have a consumer-related issue? Want to learn more about matters concerning you as a consumer? Well, keep it locked to Nationwide 90 FM for the Consumer Hour with me, Nora Gay Banton, weekdays from 9 to 10 a.m. For all your consumer-centric matters, stay tuned to the Consumer Hour on Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media.
Catch the E-Zone with me, the Stinger Honeybee, alongside
Kareem Boy, I think.
as we turn up the heat
in the street. New show.
New vibes.
Same us.
Same us.
Monday to Friday, 3 to 5 p.m.
Right here on Nationwide 90 FM.
We'll bring you entertainment news.
We'll take away your Monday blues.
You don't want to miss a week with us.
We'll talk health.
Well,
jump into the mix.
Or the hot seat.
Don't miss the brain buster.
Or the crazy giveaways.
I mean, is this planet Earth?
Is it?
I don't know. Let me check. Either way, it's got a buzz.
And a bug, I think.
Informative, educational, insightful. Let's talk justice. Tackling topics like constitutional rights and reform, domestic violence, and rights issues that affect you. Let's talk justice every Monday from 1 to 2 p.m. on Nationwide 90 FM. Call in, share your thoughts, be empowered, know your rights, and let's talk justice, ensuring access to justice for all, courtesy of Jamaicans for Justice.
Cover Story is brought to you by
Multilink. Roll with control. Use Multilink. Safe, fast, and accepted in more locations.
Good afternoon, good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us here Nationwide at 5. I'm Cliff.
And I'm Ricardo Brooks.
Good afternoon, Ricardo.
How are you?
I'm good, and you?
I'm doing well.
Very well. You're all right downstairs?
Good afternoon, listeners. Prime Minister Andrew Holness has unveiled a raft of plans aimed at improving the lives of Jamaicans as his administration seeks a third term in office. Now addressing the 81st annual conference of the Jamaica Labour Party at the National Arena yesterday, the Prime Minister says the administration is focused on prosperity for all Jamaicans.
The conference, held under the theme Active and Strong, delivering on the mission of prosperity for all, saw Holness announcing measures to tackle energy, poverty, fix water access problems, and ease the economic burden on Jamaicans. How did young people receive that message? Returning to some millennial men for some perspectives.
With us to discuss, attorney at law based in Washington, D.C., Dr. David Brown. We also have assistant lecturer in public policy at the University of the West Indies Mona campus, Dr. Damian Gordon. Gentlemen, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me.
So, first of all, are you millennial men, and millennial men fall in what demographic group? Since I'm not a millennial man, I want to know, and I suspect several of our listeners would like to know. Dr. Brown, you first.
I'm a millennial. I think folks who were born between 1981 and 1996 they're considered to be millennials, so yes, I am one.
Okay, between 1981 and 1996. What about you, Dr. Gordon?
Well, I'm not quite there yet.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes, but not without giving away my exact age. I would, based on what Dr. Brown just said, I would be classified as a millennial as well.
Why you don't want to give away your exact age? I thought you millennials don't worry about
that's
age.
That's a very boomer question.
Exactly. What is the problem?
I fall within the classification described by Dr. Brown just now. So I would consider myself to be a millennial.
All right. Okay, over to another millennial.
Dr. Brown, let me start with you. Your reaction to all you heard and saw at the conference yesterday.
I think the energy was great. I think the Prime Minister sees of the issues affecting most of the populace, especially when it comes down to the cost of living. And so, for me, the speech was a lot more focused this year than what we've seen in previous years. He definitely spent a lot of time talking about energy and education and transportation costs for students. The electricity issue, there was a lot of support for that. I certainly jumped up when I heard it. So I think, based on what the administration has been saying, the goal has been to tackle the economy from a macro level, and now it's time to really help the people to come out of poverty and into prosperity. So attacking their issues at the individual level. So I think the Prime Minister and his government is seized of the challenges affecting individual Jamaicans, especially coming out of the local government elections this year. He did say, based on what he has heard on the ground, it's about roads and water. Now, I will say, I noticed he didn't talk much about the roads yesterday. That's a huge issue. And as someone who, I don't live here, but I visit quite often, the roads are really in a bad state. But I did speak with the minister with responsibility for works yesterday after the conference, and, he reminded me that the Spark program will begin next month. But yeah, he definitely tackled some issues that are affecting Jamaican people, especially with respect to electricity.
Mm-hmm. Damien Gordon, the detractors of the Prime Minister, they're online and they're saying all of this is a little too late and it's really just election gimmickry. How do you see it?
All right. The question of whether or not, all of this is a little bit too late is left to be seen. But we have observed the trends, and as social scientists, we normally see that we look at trends, and the trends will tell us what is likely to happen electorally. So we have seen the trends. I think that for this conference, obviously, it's a much different conference for the Prime Minister and the Jamaica Labour Party. The Prime Minister obviously is in survival mode. For the past several years, the Prime Minister and the Jamaica Labour Party would have entered their annual conference on a high on account of the fact that the leader on the party would have enjoyed, high public favorability rating at a time when the People's National Party would have been emerging internally. Within the last several months, the political landscape in Jamaica has obviously shifted. That culminated with, for example, the outcome of the results of the by-elections that were held on February, 2 days before the Jamaica Labour Party held its conference. And the two big prizes of the day were won by the People's National Party, despite the fact that the full weight of the Jamaica Labour Party was thrown into both divisions. So make no mistake about it, those results would have jolted the Jamaica Labour Party. I think a part of the issue that the party has done a good job, as we have all alluded to, in terms of promoting macroeconomic stability. But the issue with pursuing a neoliberal economic model is that stability doesn't always produce a trickle-down effect that is intended. Growth under neoliberal models of development tend to lead or perpetuate exclusionary circumstances where wealth is oftentimes concentrated among the economic elite, and the conditions of laborers, the working class, worsens, the cost of living worsens, and inequalities widen, and that is normally the paradox of growth within neoliberal context. So the trickle-down effect has not worked, and I think the Prime Minister realizes that the argument that the government has managed a stabilized economy is not resonating, and as such the Prime Minister said that to himself, and I think that is the decision he came to, that he had to speak directly to his supporters who are clearly not energized. We looked at the turnout in the by-elections in February. That does not indicate an energized base.
Well, let me bring back in Dr. Brown here. Dr. Brown here, Damian Gordon is obviously onto something theoretically sound about the trickle-down effect of neoliberal economic practices, that the intervention of the state has to be deliberate and purposeful. Is that proving to be the challenge facing Wholeness and the administration tonight?
I'm inclined to agree with him. I mean, we look at what happened in the United States, for example. We have a relatively good economy, but that wasn't enough. The Democrats still lost. Mm-hmm. And I just think about the Prime Minister's statement maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. You know, he was on a platform and he said, good economics can and I don't think the people are feeling that. So as I mentioned before, I think now they're getting it. Yes, they took the first few years to stabilize the economy, but not everyone is benefiting from that. So we've got to get back to the grassroots level and take care of the people. So I am inclined to agree with Dr. Gordon about the economic model that has been
the question, therefore, the question before we allow you and Damian Gordon to go. Does he have the capacity in terms of the Jamaican bureaucracy and state to deliver what he has been announcing? Dr. Brown?
Well, sure.
And in the time he has, the short time window he has.
I will tell you this, Cliff. Anecdotally, it's going to be very difficult. So he did give a few goodies, announced a few goodies yesterday, things that will probably kick in the next fiscal year. But I anticipate that he's going to announce some more things, during his budget presentation. But again, the election is due in September. I don't know if that's going to be enough. He said yesterday that he's instructed his ministers to look at ways within which to cut the red tape. Let's see if it will work. I think the Prime Minister has probably a good 6 months to figure this out. And let's see if they'll be buying from the Jamaican populace.
Mm-hmm. Same question for you, for Damian Gordon.
Yeah. So the thing is, with the future, especially within the context of a country like Jamaica, there are so many unknown variables. If the election is called next year, September, we have entered the election during the hurricane season. We're not sure what that may look like, and already we see the state of the road. The economy is projected to further recede. So there are so many unknown variables that, given the fact that, the populace generally is very skeptical, the very disinterested. So there are so many unknown variables, many of which are not currently in the favor of the governing party. The fact that they have been in office for 2 terms, which is about 10 years, the patience of Jamaicans obviously is running out. They have high expectations, and even small or marginal or negligible changes in policies will not necessarily move the needle. So I think that considering those factors combined, the Prime Minister has said, is perhaps gearing up for the fight of his life, and he's conscious of it, and so to his government. And that is why there's this attempt now to pivot to ordinary Jamaicans. And we'll see more of that heading into next year, especially when the budget is ready.
And can the People's National Party bank on that discontent, yes, and cynicism that you just spoke to? Or do they now need Damian Gordon to lay out their own ways in terms of what they're offering the Jamaican people?
Definitely, because what it means is that even if the People's National Party were to win, they would have to hit the ground running immediately, because the Jamaicans would have run out of patience, and they require results. They require policies that will move and improve their lives immediately. So the People's National Party would not have a honeymoon period. So you cannot go in and attempt to find the solutions as it go along. It has to go in with a plan of action from day one. And that is a challenge that it now faces.
And are you hearing that plan of action so far?
I am hearing the discussions surrounding the sore points of the Jamaican people. But again, when you're on the outside looking in and when you're on the inside looking out, there are 2 different realities. So again, people are not really moved by promises. I think Jamaicans are no more pragmatic than they were before, and as such, people are now concerned more about results. And so I think that I'm hearing some ideas. The extent to which these ideas areas resonate with the Jamaican people, given the high level of skepticism and disinterestedness. But again, the People's National Party has its work cut out for it if it wins the next election. And so both political parties have their backs against the wall, more or less.
Dr. David Brown, Damon Gordon, thank you so much.
Thank you for the perspectives, gentlemen. Thank you so much. Good.
Clearing personal non-commercial shipments at the port? Avoid the wait. Request a contactless clearance through your agent today. It's more efficient. It's secure. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
11 minutes to 6.
Label Crafts Jamaica Limited offers exceptional finishes that will make your product extraordinary at an affordable cost. The Temperature, brought to you by Label Crafts Jamaica Limited. The #1 choice for label printing is
29 degrees Celsius here in Kingston. It's 27 out west in Montego Bay.
Life is precious. Whether you're driving through the hills in the country, the town, or on the highway, remember, slow down and take it easy. Your family and friends are depending on you to get home safe. Speeding may save you minutes, but careful driving saves lives. Since the beginning of this year, 288 people have been killed in 247 crashes, so drive safe.
Brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
It's the Answers Grand Prix Christmas Bonanza Sale. Get up to 50% off when you claim your discount at Answers Gifts and Home and Answers for Children. Answers Grand Prix Christmas Bonanza Sale. Now on till Saturday, December 14.
Total Tools is having a Black Friday sale weekend. Sale, sale, sale. Up to 50% off select items. Major discounts on tools, accessories, lighting, and electrical supplies. All Black Friday weekend long. Thursday, November 28 to Saturday, November 30. Move fast. Only while stocks last. Visit Total Tools Kingston, Ocho Rios, or Drax Hall. Total Tools. We've got you totally covered.
Back with you here on Nationwide at 5. It's the cover story. We're getting perspectives from a group of millennial men to the Prime Minister's presentation yesterday. Labourites put on a show at the National Arena. We're turning now to the former president of Young Jamaica, Howard Chamberlain, Young Jamaica being the youth arm of the JLP. We also have with us a member of the PNPYO, Jaheim Mitchell. Gentlemen, good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Let me begin with you, Mr. Chamberlain, former president of Young Jamaica. How are the young Labourites, non-Labourites, non-young people reacting to what they heard yesterday?
I mean, they're reacting pretty well. I think the youth ambassadors yesterday that spoke reflect the sentiments on the ground amongst young people, that the Jamaica Labour Party's government would have delivered some key things that touched and concerned their lives. They have improved their lives in terms of the availability of jobs, that the unemployment number is the lowest it has ever been. In terms of just the overall helping to move the standard of living from where it was before they came into office to where it is now, minimum wage going up, access to housing benefit, to lots of programs through the Heart Trust NTA, through the LEAP program. So in general, young people are viewing the government in a very favorable way.
I suspect Jaheim Mitchell has another perspective. Jaheim?
Most definitely. When I speak, I'm glad you introduced me as a member of the PNPYO, but the PNPYO don't only serve the People's National Party. We serve the youth across the country. And, we've heard about the unemployment rate, we heard about standard of living, but are the youth really being impacted by these numbers that we continue to hear from the Prime Minister? And the reality, Cliff, is no. The youth are not feeling anything in regards to what unemployment rate is right now. What they should look at is the cost of living. We hear about minimum wage going up, but is it actually working for young people? Is it actually benefiting young people? Okay, they get certified through hard. When they get this certificate, what next? Are there enough resources? Are there enough policies and programs set up for youth to, run into these programs and policies? The actual truth is no. And so we listened keenly to the Prime Minister and all the presentations yesterday. And not just the PNPYO got nothing from it, but I can tell you that the youth are not energized about what the Prime Minister is saying, but we are still hopeful that he has something in the bag of goodies for us.
Jahim, there was a criticism of your party's conference that it relied heavily on hype. The Labour rights say what they put on yesterday was more substantive. How do you react to that?
Well, there are many different ways to look at what happened at our annual conference this year. And what I think we should look at is not just the hype, because I believe both political parties, gravel in the hype of politics and the whole idea of an annual conference. But I do believe that when you heard that Damian Crawford speak about the youth and the things affecting them, you found better ideas coming from him than whoever the speaker who spoke about education and youth spoke about. Our leader's speech had more substance and had a futuristic plan for our country. Was it hype? Sure, take it as that. But we can tell you that people left our conference encouraged, hopeful, and ready for change.
Howard Chamberlain, you heard Jahim there. The young people not enthused about what they heard yesterday from the Prime Minister and the party, the governing party, and it will not move the needle. That's what he's suggesting. You have to come better. How do you respond to that?
I mean, Jahim would say nothing less. Jahim's position is painted orange. Jahim, like his party, believes that everything is doom and gloom. The truth of the matter is that the Jamaica Labour Party would have gotten stewardship of this country in 2016. And we have improved this country far beyond what we have gotten the state in 2016 in terms of youth program, in terms of access to employment, access to opportunities, access to education, access to upskilling. We have moved that needle far beyond what the PNP has ever offered to this country. The truth of the matter is, young people across the breadth and width of this country, they have looked at Brogard, they have looked at the Jamaica Labour Party as a progressive party that is moving this country forward. They have benefited from all these programs, and they are not in the business of selling out the Jamaica Labour Party.
Then why is it, Howard Chamberlain, that so many people, including young people, keep saying we're not feeling it? Why does that narrative persist?
I mean, it persists larger than the Prime Minister would have spoken about it. We have spent large in the last couple of years trying to fix the economy of this country, trying to ensure that we put together the fiscal responsibility and discipline that this country needs. Now what we have are the savings as a result of all that hard work and sacrifice that the Jamaican people would have put in. The hard work and sacrifice, the savings of that, no, we're seeing that being given back to the people. It's given back to the people in the reduction of the GCT on electricity bill. It is given back to the people through all the programs that the Prime Minister announced through the National Water Commission. It is given back to the people through the road program that is about to roll out with the Spark program. In so many different ways, we are seeing the benefits of all of this sacrifice from the Jamaican people being given back to the people. So people are talking that what the Prime Minister announced yesterday was election promises. No, it is a time for it, because no, we have the savings. We have done the work. Yeah, we have put the hard work in, we have made the sacrifice, and what we and the country, the people of Jamaica, are reaping are the benefits of hard work.
Jahim, given what we heard from the Prime Minister yesterday and last week, Tuesday, in that long 90-minute presentation at Jamaica House about pivoting to growth, when will we hear the alternative platform from your party in terms of what they're putting on the table?
Well, the thing is, Cliff, is that sometimes you have to be very careful with how you present an alternate to anything that the government is doing. You realize, as not just a party, but as young people, that the Labour Right currently lack ideas and they lack proper critical thinking.
Surely, Jai Mitchell, you don't expect the Jamaican people to accept that, though. No, I got the point. I got the point. And surely you don't expect the Jamaican people to accept that, Jai Mitchell.
Well,
you're not seeking some kind of cloak and dagger office. It's a public office, and surely they expect and should expect to hear your ideas.
Most definitely. you've heard ideas in many different sectors. So there's certain alternatives that we just won't put on the table as yet. But whenever that time comes for a manifesto of the People's National Party, then you'll have a clear outline.
Jamaican people don't read manifestos, Mr. Mitchell.
And worse, some of them are released 1 week before the general election.
Well, I do believe that where we are today, the people will now trust the PNP and their manifesto, even if it's a week in, than what the government has given to us over the last 8 years.
You're gambling that the people don't like the government, so they'll vote out the government, not necessarily vote for the PNP.
Well, what I think, Cliff, it comes down to a big word I like to call trust. And I think the Prime Minister and his team, the people have just lost trust and hope in them. So what next option do the people really have? I heard Mr. Chambers on the other line saying that, the youth believe that the Prime Minister has a lot more to offer. But when we look at the different members of his party and their behaviors, and even statements made by their members talking about it's good for youth to rub out their hands, youth don't want to hear that. Those are not progressive.
But what are you telling the youth? What are you saying to them?
We are telling them, Cliff, that you can go to school without lunch money and be fed. We are willing to ensure that not only the programs are there and the policies are there, but there will be programs.
Which programs? What policies? Because that's where we are now, This side of the election, not the base, but that slice of the electorate, yes, who is still of the view that I want to hear what they have to offer. That's what they want to hear now. What is Golding prepared to put on the table? We know what Holness has put on the table. We now want to hear from Golding.
Well, again, Cliff, what I will say to you is that
there
is an alternate. There is a better and bigger plan. And I do believe that when Mark Golding and his team is ready to outline these plans, the people of Jamaica will definitely understand and realize that there are better and more improved plans for the country.
Before we go on and hear Howard Chamberlain in that matter of trust, because Jaheim says he believes the Jamaican people no longer trust Holness and his government. Howard?
The Jamaican people certainly has absolutely no trust in the People's National Party. We're talking about the same party that has led us with run-with-it policies over the years. We're talking about the same party whose leader lied to the government and told the government that he had to stand in line to apply for a British visa when he had a British passport. So if we're on the business of trust, there's absolutely no trust in the opposition. But you and Cliff made a very important point, which is where we are in the politics. The politics has matured. What plans and program is the PNP and Mark Golding coming with? We are yet to hear, because Mark Golding and the PNP, rightfully so, they are banking on the fact that, the people of Jamaica may grow agitated with the fact that they're not seeing the trickle-down benefits of this economy, which we're now giving to them, because we're not trying to trickle the benefits down. We're saying to you, as a result of our management, these are the stuff that we are now doing. So we are doing. So come to the table and tell us. Don't tell us, we're coming, or we'll hear a week before. Tell us now.
We're out of time. Howard Chamberlain is the former president of Young Jamaica, and Jaheim Mitchell is a member of the PNP-YO. Gents, thanks so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
No problem.
After the break, the headlines.
Cover Story was brought to you by
Multilink. Roll with control. Use Multilink. Safe, fast, and accepted in more locations.
The time brought to you by Guardian Life. Live secure, live easy is
2 minutes after 6.
Nationwide headlines at 6.
Good evening. With the headlines at 6, I'm Nora Gay Banton. The teen boys seen in a viral video sexually assaulting a 13-year-old girl have been charged with several offenses. The charges include rape, forcible abduction, knowing and producing child pornography, and distributing child pornography. The update was provided on Monday by the Child Protection and Family Services Agency, CPFSA. The 6 boys involved in the sexual assault of the 13-year-old remain in custody. Chief Executive Officer of the CPFSA, Laurette Adams Thomas, says the girl is set to undergo a medical examination.
We were made aware of the video early Saturday morning on the 23rd of November, 2024. Our investigating team located the young girl and her family and met with them on Sunday, November 24th, and provided brief counseling. The child was referred to the Victim Services Division for additional support, and she's also to receive a medical assessment today. And we will continue to work with the family through our Children and Family Support Unit.
The CPFSA says based on investigations, the male students allegedly lured the girl to a house where she was sexually assaulted. The incident was also filmed and shared on social media. The Jamaica Constabulary Force is urging members of the public to refrain from sharing the video to prevent further traumatizing the victim. It says sharing such content may also constitute a breach of the Child Pornography Prevention Act and can result in imprisonment. Gender Minister Olivia Grange has condemned the heinous act of violence. She's demanding swift justice for the victim. Education Minister Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon has also condemned the incident and is pledging her ministry's full support to the victim and her family. She says the ministry stands ready to provide counseling and psychosocial support to those affected by the traumatic event. Mrs. Adams Thomas says maladaptive behaviors in the nation's schools and communities must not be condoned.
We strongly condemn this despicable act that was meted out to this young girl. The levels of violence we continue to see being displayed by our children are of grave concern, and sadly this also seems to be a reflection of the violence and disrespect towards women and girls that permeate our society. We need to do more now to protect our children and future. These kind of maladaptive behaviors in our schools and communities must not be condoned, and we must teach our boys that masculinity is not synonymous with abuse.
Laurette Adams Thomas, CEO of the Child Protection and Family Services Agency. Very happy. That's how Energy Minister Darrell Vaz is feeling following Prime Minister Andrew Holness's announcement of an upcoming reduction in the General Consumption Tax, GCT, on electricity from 15% to 7%. Minister Vaz credited the work of Finance Minister Favour Williams for making the plan a reality.
Minister Williams has worked tirelessly since she came in, taking over from Minister Clark, to look at this and several other areas in terms of how we can assist to ease the inflation burden that is being imposed on the people in terms of cost of electricity and food prices, etc. So I'm happy that we are moving in this direction now, which is to make sure that the people of Jamaica benefit from the gains that we have made and the years of sacrifice that they have made. So, to say it in one word, I'm very happy.
The announcement was one of a series made by the Prime Minister during his speech at the JLP's 81st Annual Conference at the National Arena. He says this change is slated for implementation after the next budget cycle in March 2025. Minister Vaz says it was a move he had advocated for in order to bring relief to Jamaicans.
I'm truly elated about the announcement made by the Prime Minister yesterday. This is a matter that I've been pushing very hard in terms of relief for the JPS customers. But as you know, we have to be fiscally responsible, so it was a matter of what methodology could you use to get the maximum benefit and, of course, afford it.
Darren Vaz, Minister of Energy. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says his government intends to send officers into communities to find children who have been repeatedly absent from school. Speaking at the JLP's 81st annual conference on Sunday, Holness says the rates of truancy being recorded are troubling.
It is in all our interests to have all our children in school. I have asked the Minister of Education to strengthen, refocus, and re-emphasize the capacity of the Ministry of Education in truancy. Every education officer is effectively a truancy officer, and the law provides for the deputizing of appropriate personnel as truancy officers. I have asked the Minister of Education to establish specific truancy officers in all regions. They must go out after examining their register and see who is not attending, knock on those doors, find those students who are not attending school and bring them back to school. The government stands ready to provide the support for those students. We cannot allow students to be out of school.
Truancy is the practice of staying away from school without permission or a valid reason. Meanwhile, the Prime Minister says he's extremely concerned about the re-emergence of auxiliary fees. In 2007, the then Education Minister Andrew Holness announced a free tuition initiative throughout the school system to ensure access to education. At that time, Holness stressed that there should be no excuse for parents not to send their children to school. He reiterated this stance on Sunday.
We believe that every child deserves to access education right up to the highest level. So it really pains my heart as I move around and I hear parents complaining about fees. I understand that the cost that the schools face to provide quality education can be expensive. I understand that. But I want to remind school administrators that non-payment of fees should never prevent a child from accessing education. Under this government, no child will be denied access to education due to financial constraints.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness. Those were the headlines at 6. I'm Nora Gay. Band on Sports is next.
New World Home Improvement and Detail Cleaning offers high-quality detail cleaning and home improvement services. They cater to residential and commercial properties. They clean from the ceiling to the floor. They clean sofas, mattresses, carpets, and chairs. They deep clean and restore all floors. They repair and restore roofing. They do tiling, general paintings, drywall works, and other carpentry services to include property renovation. Call them 876-384-9313. Follow them at New World Detail Cleaning and Home Improvement.
Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, is a financial reporting firm that delivers accounting and compliance services on time. Call us today at 876-908-0486-7. Email us at clientservices@cocnjamaica.com or visit our website at www.cocnjamaica.com. COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology, and integrity.
Fa la 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 la. Did you hear that? It is almost Christmas and Fostridge is having a super solar lighting sale. Yes, you heard right. From now until November 25th, enjoy 20% off your selection of solar wall lamps, garden lights, and solar flood lamps. You can't afford to miss the sale. It is the Fostridge Super Solar Lighting Sale, now until November 25th. Visit us in Kingston, Mandeville, Montego Bay, and Draxall. Shop and save, only with Fostridge.
Are you ready for real rewards this Christmas? Reel in big cash prizes and big appliances with Rainforest Real Rewards. On now at supermarkets island-wide. Enter to win cash prize of $500,000 or a stove or fridge. Any 2 Rainforest products, including shrimp, and enter online or WhatsApp between November 1 and December 15. Each receipt is an entry. Enter as many times as you want. This Christmas, win real rewards. Only with Rainforest. Authorized by the PGLC. Terms and conditions apply.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to Sports here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Wayne Walker. Malines United and Racing are 1-1 at halftime in their Ray and Nephew Premier League game at the Tony Spalding Sports Complex. Andre Campbell gave Racing the lead, but Jason Wright restored parity for Malines in the second game of the doubleheader at 7:45 this evening. Arnett Gardens will take on Vere, and a victory for the Junglists will see them join Waterhouse at the top of the standings with 21 points. And Cavalier will host Cibao of the Dom Republic in the first leg of the CONCACAF Club Caribbean Cup final at the National Stadium tomorrow. Cavalier top Group A with 3 wins and 1 defeat, while Cibao recorded 3 wins and a draw to top Group B. Cavalier finished runners-up in 2023, losing 3-0 on aggregate to SV Robin Hood of Suriname. The Jamaican side returned to the final for a second straight year following a 7-0 win over Real Hope FA on aggregate. The West Indies are closing in on victory over Bangladesh in the first cricket test at Sir Vivian Richards Stadium in Antigua. When stumps were drawn to close day number 4, Bangladesh batting a second time were 109 for 7, still 225 runs away from avoiding defeat. Captain Mahedi Hassan Miraz, 40, and Leighton Das, 22, are so far the leading batters. Kemar Roach and Jaden Seals have so far taken 3 wickets for the West Indies. Earlier, the Windies were bowled out for 152 in their second innings, with Alec Athenaeus getting 42, Craig Brathwaite 23, and Joshua De Silva 22. Taskin Ahmed picked up 6 for 64, with Mahedi Hassan Miraz taking 2 wickets. Scores in the game so far: West Indies 450 for 9 declared and 152. Bangladesh 269 for 9 declared and 109 for 7. Roach says the bowlers actually rescued the second innings after the failure of the batsmen.
We wanted some more runs with the bat, but I think as a bowling group, as I said, a very highly skillful bowling group. I think the communication was good. Once we started well with the ball, that comes from me and Jaden. Once we started off the ball, probably get 1 or 2 wickets up front. I think we're going to be in the game for the rest of the days. So I think the guy that expressed himself well today is obviously tough, not much rest. We had a very long first innings, but to come back in this evening, and obviously the way we bowled, fantastic. And I want to praise on the bowling group. The communication, the enjoyment we have, it's a good working unit, and I'm happy to be a part of it.
That's Kemar Roach. West Indies players were largely unsold on the final day of the Indian Premier League IPL draft in Saudi Arabia on Monday. Of the 22 West Indies players who entered the draft, only 4 were picked up: Rovman Powell, Shafin Rutherford, Shamar Joseph, and Romario Shepherd. Powell was sold to the Kolkata Knight Riders for $95,000 US, and he will join forces with Andre Russell and Sunil Narayan, who were retained by the franchise. Shepherd was bought by the Royal Challengers Bengaluru for $178,000. Shamar Joseph was picked up by the Lucknow Super Giants for $50,000 and will play alongside Nicholas Pooran, who was retained. Rutherford was the most expensive. He went to the Gujarat Titans for $300,000 US. Among the West Indians who went unsold were Brandon King, Alzari Joseph, Akil Hussain, and Carl Mears. The 2025 Indian Premier League is scheduled to get underway on March 14 next year. Sunshine Girls team defensive specialist Rob Wright and head coach of the England Roses, Jess Turlby, are excited for the start of Game 3 of the Vitality Netball Horizon Series at the National Indoor Sports Centre. That game is set to get underway in 14 minutes' time. The match, the English girls are leading the series by 1-0 after winning the second game in England last week, 55-47. The first game ended 49 apiece. And I tell you what, Rob Wright says the series is a part of the Sunshine Girls' quest to be number 1 in the world.
We're here to win. We don't play to go or we want to lose. We, like Jess's team, we want to be number 1 in the world. I truly believe that the group, and you mentioned a number of them, and Jess has mentioned a number of them, we have world-class players across the court, and on our day, we can beat anyone in the world, but we can't do it consistently. So, but our aim, like Jess, is to be 1 in the world and make no bones about it. That's our aim, and we see this partnership with England, which is awesome, because this is going to help us big time.
That's Rob Wright. And Turlby says she's expecting a carnival-style atmosphere.
We've told them lots of stories. We told them the conditions will be very different to back home. It will make England look very conservative in comparison. It will be like a festival, and we hope it will be like that, a carnival. The crowd will will be unapologetically in support of the Sunshine Girls. And I think over the years, I think the Jamaicans really rise to that. You know, a very emotive team combined with the talent that they've now got. And I think inevitably, you've seen it in these opening 2 games, you know, we stretch a lead to 4, 5 or 6, and within seconds, you know, we're back to a 1-goal game, and we know that they're capable of that. So I think both teams trying to get out in front is obviously going to be quite a high priority, and then being able to maintain and build on a lead is something that we want to try and improve upon.
Yeah, that's Jess Thirlby, the head coach of the England national netball team. Before that, it was Rob Wright from Jamaica. All right, just to repeat, the score in the latest score in the Premier League game, Malines and Racing, they're meeting at the Tony Spalding Sports Complex. It's 1 apiece, and it was Andre Campbell who gave Racing the lead before Jason Wright restored parity for Malines. And the netball tipping off in just about 12 minutes' time. So if you're on your way to the National Indoor Sports Centre, don't rush. You'll get there in time. It should be treated to some really good netball. The second game, by the way, is tomorrow at 7:30 at the same venue. 1-0 to England in the 4-match series. Let's see how it goes tonight. We'll give you the result in the early morning sports during news at 6. For now, though, that's sports.
For all your scales and food processing equipment, call Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited at 876-968-9612-5. The time by Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited is
6:19.
With Jamaica Automobile Association, membership is a win-win. Enter the JAA Fuel Up promotion, and you could win the grand prize of JAA Gold membership for 1 year, plus fuel valued at $240,000. Just purchase, renew, or upgrade your JAA membership, or use your individual JAA Advance card to buy at least $10,000 of fuel a month. So, fuel up! There's also monthly prizes of $20,000 in fuel. Enter now. JAA Fuel Up promotion ends December 13, 2024. Conditions apply.
Shop and win a mega kitchen from Megamart. Spend $6,000 or more before GCT at any Megamart location and fill out the entry form provided for a chance to win a brand new stove, fridge, and microwave this Christmas from Appliance Traders Limited. Visit us on social media to win monthly prizes courtesy of Lasco, Grace Foods, and Facey Commodity Company Limited. Promotion runs from September 30 to December 6th. Shop now to win a mega kitchen from Megamart. The best value by far. Conditions apply. Must be 18 years or older to enter. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming, and Lotteries Act.
Get ready for the lowest prices of the year at the Active Home Center Black Friday sale in Kingston and Montego Bay. Save big on tiles, bathroom fixtures, furniture, lighting, and more just in time for the holidays. Join us now until Saturday, November 30 for unbeatable deals you won't want to miss. Visit our newly relaunched Montego Bay location at Barnett Tech Park at the intersection of Fairfield and Barnett Street, or our upgraded Kingston showroom at 84 Constant Spring Road. Conditions apply. Active Home Center. More savings, more choices.
Hi there. Here's some good news for these trying times. Quote, "By God's word, I can see where I'm going. They throw a beam of light on my dark path." Unquote. Psalm 119, verse 105. Listen for God's Word weekdays at 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. through
Oasis. Stop by for a refreshing drink and share a God perspective for the day.
Oasis. Weekdays 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. right here on Nationwide, a revolution in media.
The rebroadcast of the Oasis can be heard weekdays at 5:45 a.m.
Public Opinion is brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Good evening and welcome to Public Opinion. I'm Roby Ann Williams. A special good evening to our friends over on our YouTube platform. Thank you for staying with us. We invite you to weigh in live in the comments section on today's Public Opinion. It's the start of a new week and we're inching closer to the end of the year. Can you believe it already? 2024 is coming to an end. The curtains are closing. Well, let's get to public opinion. Prime Minister Andrew Holness has unveiled a raft of plans aimed at improving the lives of Jamaicans as his administration seeks a third term in office. Addressing the 81st annual conference of the JLP on Sunday at the National Arena, the Prime Minister pledged to focus intently on delivering prosperity for all Jamaicans. Now, among the plans is a reduction in the General Consumption Tax GCT on electricity. He says it will be slashed from 15% to 7%. This change is slated for implementation after the next budget cycle in March 2025, according to Prime Minister Holness. He emphasized that this move is part of a broader strategy to alleviate energy poverty and make electricity more affordable.
Everybody complain about their electricity bill. Listen to this one carefully. After the next budget, which is in March coming up, the government will reduce GCT on electricity from 15%, which it is now, to 7%. We will remove the non-tax threshold and replace this with an incentivized compatible rebate of GCT for persons who use 200 megawatts or less per month. Now, the JPS will be required to roll out prepaid meters nationally, particularly in vulnerable communities.
Indeed, the Prime Minister Andrew Holness just now. So in public opinion this evening, of course, we're asking about it, your reaction. We want to get your feedback. The public, members of the public, you can message me on, or I should say comment in the YouTube chat at this point in time. If you're on our YouTube, Nationwide 90 FM, we want to get your feedback. 2. The planned reduction in GCT on light bill. I'm going to start with the comments on X, where Graham Jervis is saying any reduction on our pockets is good, and he's saying that he will take it. Andre Lawrence is also saying that it's a welcome move, but he hopes JPS doesn't try and trick us by raising the bills so the people can't feel the GCT reduction. Andre is going further to say people need to see and feel the real reduction, and it's important that everything is done transparently so we can trust the process. Yeah? Gavin Simpson is giving me some things here. So currently you don't pay GCT on the first 150 kilowatt per hour. Given November 2024 rates, that's approximately 8,173. All right, so he's giving me some figures, and I don't know how to, maneuver that. So, thank you. C-Mac is saying, anything that will have some coins, I welcome. Bo Winkle, that is good. But what also needs to happen is a GCT free day once a month for seniors, teachers, and nurses. Boy, that one day sounds steep, Bo Winkle. Tashana Taylor is saying this is a way to provide incentives and increase productivity at the same time. This is a good, responsible way to give back to the people. And Yvette is giving us a sigh of relief, and she's saying thanks be to God and thanks to the PM. All right, let me see if I can get in a few more. Craig is questioning, is the GCT on the bill or is it also the GCT on the oil and everything else in the apparatus? All right. Ben is saying it's minuscule at best, but something nonetheless. Yeah? All right. Let me see if I can get in a few more here on our Facebook platform, where Prince Wellington is saying election gimmicks. Probably trying to make Favour look like she's working. Okay. Wow. Let me see if I can get in a few more. Philip Jackson is saying it's the beginning of the first step towards the city of transformation. 1-1 Coco. Wait, no. It full basket. And he's saying the PM is listening. Light, road, and water. Three important components for any government to its people. If you're just joining us, we're talking about the planned reduction in GCT on light bill, and we're asking you for your reaction. Cleveland Richards is saying, well, it could only happen because the government set the economy right. Thank you, Prime Minister. Continue to be with you. May God continue to be with you. All right. Okay. Jeffrey is asking, can that grow the economy? Even Haiti, which is in turmoil, has a better GDP. All right, Jeffrey Clive. Arlene Kelly is saying the glass is half full. It is welcomed. Neil Walters is saying, I think it's really a really good move to assist the most vulnerable with the rising electricity cost. And he's suggesting that the government needs to ensure the light company doesn't increase the cost of the electricity to the public. What you can do to hold anything or the company to account, you can watch your light bill. Be observant. Someone will get the light bill when I really to pay attention to the figures and what the usage and everything that we've been. And I just recently, one of the culprit. I just recently start pay attention to light bill. But some of us, we don't necessarily pay attention. Neil, let me see. Anthony Shake says any reduction is appreciated. It's gonna help lots of people. That sentiment also being shared from Michelle Bernard. Anthony Shakes is also saying that too. Dwight Venn. Yeah, and George Elliott says, excellent initiative. All right, let me see if I can go on over to our YouTubers to see what the YouTubers are saying about the planned reduction in GCT on electricity. Let me see if I can get in. Kevin is saying these promises that the Prime Minister came with is welcome, but the fact is, why no? Even if he promised to... promised to rise the dead. We already made up our minds to vote him out. All right, Kevin, we see you. Audrey is saying, thank you, my PM. We need it. Yeah. Patrick Godfrey is saying the PM is saying that from 2016 until now is 2024. You are not relevant. Wow. All right. Let me see if I can. Barbara Ellington, good move. But JPS will find ways to add that 7% elsewhere. Okay. Yeah. Concerned Dunce is saying Andrew Holness, production is down. More production, more jobs, and produce more taxes. Okay. Ken Youth is saying that any decrease is welcome. Any decrease in GCT, I suppose he says it is welcome. It's a welcomed move. Yeah. Let me see if I can get to Instagram. Yeah, Zaddy is saying taxes don't kick in until you've used over 150 kilowatt. Most ordinary households use less than that. It's a great trick, though. All right. Hyatt Herman is saying, great move. Very little bit helps. Every little bit helps. Yes. Great move. Every little bit helps. Reed Gaviz saying that guess the government should have increased it. Then Uno will find something to talk about. Oh, wow. Yeah. Dave Hall believes it's an election ploy by the Prime Minister. Yeah. Rosemary believes that it will only benefit the rich. Yeah. Barna is saying that this is a chess game. It's a chess game that Brogard is playing. All right. And Coconut Water is questioning how are we paying for this? I suppose you're saying we'll be paying for it either way. Coconut Water. Yeah. Let me see if I can get in a few more on our YouTube page. Michael Ray is saying that this is a great initiative by the Prime Minister. Trelawney Southern Johnson saying good idea. All right. Let me see if I can get in a few more. To the question, we're asking you your reaction. Your reaction to the planned reduction in GCT on light bill. And that is to, according to the Prime Minister, slash from 15% to 7% the GCT at this stage, and it will be implemented after the next, slated for implementation after the next budget cycle, which is in March next year. Yeah? Let me see if I can get in a few more. Vevita Edwards is saying, very good move, PM, and we already have 8 years of no new taxes. All right. Tanya Jones believe PM, it's a good thing. That's what she's saying. It's a good thing. Yeah. All right. Let me see. I need to see if I have any more coming in. Robert Lewis is saying, good move by the PM. 5 term for him in government. Okay. All right. Oscar is saying, no, Oscar, I can't call the people him that. Jeez, McHugh say, yes, good for reduction. Just hope implementation will be smooth. Yeah. One can only hope, McHugh. One can only hope. Anna Ferguson says that not gonna work for us, the small people. Second comment I'm seeing as it relates to the GCT going in favor for some and not going in favor for another set. All right, we welcome it. Your views are welcome and valued. Karen Nunes says, I will be benefiting. Yeah, a lot of comments coming in on this one. I believe it's a wait and see game at this point in time. We'll have to wait and see. The Prime Minister said the change is slated for implementation after the next budget cycle in March 2025. Sometime between now and March 2025, so let's wait and see. Yeah? That's all the time we have for public opinion this evening. Remember, you have the option of agreeing and or disagreeing, as you're entitled to your own opinion. I'm Robianne Williams. Stay tuned. The Business Report up next.
Public Opinion was brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Drive the most exciting new vehicles in Jamaica. Schedule your 2024 Ford Ranger pickup or Ford Everest 7-seater SUV test drive now. Call or visit KIG today.
The time by KIG is
6:34. Hello, good evening, and welcome to Nationwide's Business Report. I'm Robianne Williams. Tax Administration Jamaica says more than 200,000 Jamaicans will receive disbursement from the government's Reverse Income Tax Credit, RITC, this month. The total payout will amount to $4.3 billion. Now, eligible individuals earning less than $3 million will receive a one-time payment of $20,000. This will bring the total number of individuals who have so far benefited from the tax giveback to nearly 300,000 Jamaicans. Total payout under the initiative now amounts to $5.8 billion. The latest payouts are scheduled for disbursements this week. It will include payments to clients of National Commercial Bank and Scotiabank who experienced delays earlier in the process. Now, beneficiaries will receive a notification via email or SMS text message when the disbursement is made. THA says subsequent payments are scheduled to take place in December and January, in keeping with the government's projection. Eligible individuals who have not applied are being reminded that the deadline for submission of RITC applications is approaching. Yes, it's December 2, 2024. Further afield, U.S. department store Macy's has said a rogue staffer concealed more than $130 million in company costs over roughly 3 years, causing it to delay the release of its latest accounts. Macy's, also the owner of Bloomingdale's and the makeup chain Bluemercury, said it was postponing its quarterly sales update as it investigates the incident. The person was responsible for tracking expenses related to small package deliveries, the retailer said. It added that it believed the person had acted alone. And finally, in the currency markets, at the close of trading today, it cost 158 Jamaican dollars and 50 cents to buy $1 US. $202 Jamaican dollars and 99 cents to buy 1 British pound, and 113 Jamaican dollars and 28 cents to buy the Canadian dollar. That's the business report. I'm Roby Ann Williams. Good evening.
Want to start investing in stocks but don't know how? Then the JMMB Income and Growth Fund could fit your future best with returns that outperform inflation and tax-free advantages. Visit jm.jmmb.com to get started with as little as $5,000. Conditions apply.
It's time for a new look.
And high time to get serious about protecting our home and investment.
It's time to choose BH Paints with over 60 years experience in quality paint finishes. Their products are superior and long-lasting.
Time to check them out.
Ask about BH Paint's 100% acrylic Ultima Plus paint and primer in one. Experience rich colors with advanced UV and mildew-resistant technologies, independently tested by experts. What are you waiting for? Visit a BH Paints Color Center today. Informative, educational, insightful. Let's talk justice. Tackling topics like constitutional rights and reform, domestic violence, and rights issues that affect you. Let's talk justice every Monday from 1 to 2 p.m. on Nationwide 90 FM. Call in, share your thoughts, be empowered, know your rights, and let's talk justice, ensuring access to justice for all, courtesy of Jamaicans for Justice.
Catch the E-Zone with me, the Stinger Honeybee, alongside
Kareem Boy Ting.
As we turn up the heat
in the street. New show.
New vibes.
Same us.
Same us.
Monday to Friday, 3 to 5 p.m.
Right here on Nationwide 90 FM.
We'll bring you entertainment news.
We'll take away your Monday blues.
You don't want to miss a week with us.
We'll talk health.
Well,
jump into the mix.
Or the hot seat.
Don't miss the brain buster.
Or the crazy giveaways.
I mean, is this planet Earth?
Is it?
I don't know. Let me check. Either way, it's got a buzz.
And a bug thing.
Ow.
The Police Civilian Oversight Authority will be hosting its awards ceremony for Area 2 Transforming Our Police Services TOPS competition on Wednesday, November 27, 2024. The TOPS program, established in 2019, is aimed at increasing compliance with Jamaica Constabulary Force policies and procedures. Additionally, the program seeks to boost the morale of police officers. The program is comprised of 4 phases: the TOPS Area Competition, the TOPS Area Award Ceremony, Area Performance Review Meeting, and Re-Inspection. Join Cliff Hughes online from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. as we broadcast live from the TOPS Award Ceremony, Wednesday, November 27, 2024, only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by Police Civilian Oversight Authority.
As we grow older, there are many challenges that we have to confront, but these years can represent the best in our lives. Coming of Age during Nationwide This Morning on Thursdays explores issues persons 50 and over confront. It also provides expert opinions on how we can improve the quality of our lives as we get older. That's Coming of Age, this and every Thursday during Nationwide This Morning at 6:51 a.m.
Are you ready to turn your sales and marketing skills into high earnings? Nationwide 90 FM is searching for business development executives to help us grow our business and build lasting client relationships. If you have experience across all stages of the sales cycle and possess strong communication, negotiation, and time management skills with a proven sales track record, this opportunity is perfect for you. Join our team and work with the top corporate brands, media agencies, and of course, our on-air personalities. Enjoy networking opportunities, professional growth, and competitive commissions. Ready to take the next step? Send your resume to hr@nationwidenewsnetwork.com today.
Nation's Business is brought to you by BH Paints. Paint it, love it with BH Paints.
Good evening, good evening. Thank you so much for staying with us here on Nationwide at 5. It's time for the Nation's Business. I'm Ricardo Brooks, and we're continuing to get reactions to what was announced at the JLP's conference yesterday. We're going to zone in now on that reduction in the GCT on electricity and what that means for small businesses. Now, the Prime Minister says the series of initiatives were designed to enhance the lives of Jamaicans as his government seeks a third term in office. Yeah, he says that the administration is committed to ensuring prosperity for all. Now, one of the big ticket items, the plan to reduce the general consumption tax on electricity, which will happen next year, according to the Prime Minister, slashing that rate from 15% to 7%. And he emphasized that the move is part of a broader strategy to alleviate energy poverty and make electricity more affordable.
Everybody complain about their electricity bill. Listen to this one carefully. After the next budget, which is in March coming up, the government will reduce GCT on electricity from 15%, which it is now, to 7%. We will remove the non-tax threshold and replace this with an incentivized compatible rebate of GCT for persons who use 200 megawatts or less per month. Now, the JPS will be required to roll out prepaid meters nationally, particularly in vulnerable communities.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness there. Now, in addition to the tax reduction, he also announced the introduction of time of day pricing for electricity.
This means customers can benefit from better rates by arranging how they consume electricity in off-peak hours. So, the peak hours is usually in the evening when everybody come home from work. Electricity high, cost high. But now the JPS can say, all right, if you use most of your electricity in off-peak hours, you pay a lower rate. So you have the option now of economizing how you use electricity. But it is also better for the grid because right now in peak time, everybody is using the grid. Put stress on the grid. But if you can evenly distribute the use of the grid, it is more economical for everyone.
That's Prime Minister Andrew Holness. So we have joining us the President of the MSME Alliance, Antoinette Hamilton, and the Managing Director of Home Choice Enterprise Limited, Karima Munsi, and we're hoping to be joined by the President of the Small Businesses Association of Jamaica, Garnet Reid. Good evening, Ms. Hamilton and Ms. Munsi.
Hi, good evening. Thank you for having us.
Good evening. Let me begin with you, the President of the MSME Alliance, Antoinette Hamilton. Your reaction to what you heard from the Prime Minister, especially the reduction of GCT on electricity?
Well, the reaction is that up until when the Minister of Finance announced that it did not apply to businesses, we were somewhat optimistic. So as it is now, it does not apply to businesses, and so we would want the Minister of Finance and the Prime Minister to look into other ways in which the GCT system can be reformed to include the MSME sector.
Mm-hmm. And Ms. Hamilton, I've been just reading some of the views on social media, and one of the things I'm seeing that people are saying, no man, this should be something for households, that businesses should not benefit from something like this. Walk our listeners through what it means for small businesses in terms of electricity costs and how prohibitive that may be to doing business.
Okay, so most businesses use electricity. It is a necessity for MSMEs. However, what we believe would have a greater impact on our sector would be, for example, increasing the threshold, which the Prime Minister did mention in his policy statement, not necessarily the conference, as well as moving to a cash basis for payment for MSMEs, because our sector really suffers from cash flow issues. And so when we are required to file on a cash basis, it affects, even though we do not collect on a cash basis. So we invoice, and sometimes we don't even collect, but we still have to pay it over. So that in itself affects the cash flow of MSMEs. So while some businesses may benefit from GCT reduction if it is granted, we are more focused on how we can increase productivity in our country. And we believe that other ways can be looked at which include those two I've mentioned.
Karima Munsi, the finance minister, says not yet for businesses, but it's something that she's open to taking a look at. What would your word be to the government tonight about what you're facing as a small business owner?
Well, to be honest, my view is that GCT should not have been charged anyway on electric bill. So when it was introduced, it should have been considered that it's a necessity, right? So, as Antoinette said, that the micro businesses may be under the threshold and they may not be able to claim for the GCT as an input tax. So that will definitely lower their ability to their cash flow by paying over GCT or something which they cannot claim for. And within the micro sector, there's a lot of businesses that falls under the GCT threshold. One eventually cause people not to register their businesses and just go in the gray economy, like what's happening in Jamaica. But if they actually do allow us, that allows us not to pay GCT, it would be greater benefit to us and give us better cash flow.
The Prime Minister also introduced the concept of time of day pricing for electricity. Yes? How do you plan to adjust your business to take...
I did not hear that, Cliff. Could you repeat?
Time of day pricing, but that wouldn't be applicable to businesses.
That would not be definitely. That wouldn't be applicable to us. But if that can be applicable to the residential, if they would want to wash their clothes in the daytime or whatever they want to do within the daytime, and that's the only thing I see that can save on electricity, a washing machine. I don't actually see anything else that can actually save current during the day for a residential person. Cliff, do you see anything else, Antoinette? Except the washing machine. That's the only thing we can probably reduce the electric rate on that can be used in the day instead of night.
The other thing I want, and I think Mr. Hamilton alluded to it, the threshold. He did say that they're coming with a proposal to increase it further. Yeah? Where do you think they should land? Antoinette and then Karima?
Well,
I don't think
we would prefer to run that by our membership first, because we believe in, representing the voices of our members. But certainly anything above 20 million, I think, would be.
I think that is plausible, because with the price of everything, $20 million should be. That's reasonable. 25 million. Because if you're running a business under $2 million, you're basically paying up most of that in expenses anyway.
And just to add, please, remember that there are a lot of things going against MSMEs. One, we're not able to get unsecured loan if we're less than 2 years. We're not able to access CBJ facility if we're earning less than 15 million. We have seen that the policy interest rate has been reduced. That is not yet passed on to our business sector. So what we're saying is that give us the opportunity to have more cash flow, our own cash flow. We're not asking for, money per se. We struggle with cash flow issues. So give us the opportunity to have more cash flow so that we can reinvest in our businesses, so that I think that will have a greater impact on the economic growth, which is something that the Prime Minister did say he wants to increase significantly.
Expound a bit on that, Cliff, and add to it, Antoinette, is that we have to pay, as manufacturers, we have to pay the government GCT, whether it is collected, yes or no. We'd like the government to look at the manufacturing sector as being a vital part of our sector. The MSME makes up 80% of the economy. We believe that if we pay our invoices, pay over GCT on invoices that are paid and not billed as sales, we would have better cash flow. So if we sell, for example, we sell a chain of supermarket $1 million, we have to find $150,000 to pay upfront, even if we don't collect that. So that ties up our cash flow. So that GCT reform on a whole needs to be considered, especially for the MSME sector.
And Karima Munsi, is it fair to say you're not hearing enough from this government about targeted interventions for the MSME sector?
I would say no and yes, because yes, they are trying a lot. A lot of projects is out there, a lot of grants are out there, a lot of opportunities are out there, but they are taking it back from us. They're actually giving you, but they're giving you with one hand, they're actually taking it back. Because how can you sell us $10 million for the month, $1.5 million worth of GCT, and we feel like we're being extorted? I spoke to my lawyer before I made the call and said, is it legal for the government to be charging GCT, telling us to pay money that we don't collect? Right? And he said, it's basically not a legal procedure, but whatever the government actually say, that becomes the law. And to me, that's extortion. How can you charge someone, tell us to pay something that we don't collect? I believe the GCT Act has been an extortion from the beginning and inception when I was a micro enterprise. I'm not falling on the medium to large enterprise now, but it was very difficult for me. I used to go to a grocery in my house just to pay my GCT. And it's just simple, not fair, and that needs to be addressed. And so the GCT Reform Act needs to be looked at. So, but the lawyers and the real estate agents and some services are allowed to pay on paid invoices only, and only when you sell and pay and get paid, but not us.
Right, that was what I was going to mention. That we do know that there are certain services that do pay on a cash basis, and these include general insurance, professional services, telephone, and commercial rental. But we want this to be across the board for MSME.
Right.
Karima, go ahead.
Or everybody, not only for the MSME, because even if I sell 10 million now, 20 million next month, $30 million the next month, 50 million, I have to find I have to find 15% of that to pay upfront to government, which I don't collect until maybe 60 days, 90 days, maybe sometimes they don't collect it.
Yeah, so you're having to take the financing costs. Yes.
Yeah, the government extorts us to pay GCT. They're probably not going to that, Yeah, it's extortion to pay over something that you don't collect.
And here's the thing, Cliff. When we are having the cash flow issues and we apply to the banks and DBJ to get the cash flow, working capital support, we call it, the red tapes, the upfront costs, hefty, we're not able to afford it. So one of the things that we have been advocating for, especially DBJ, seeing that they're set up to help SMEs, is to price the upfront cost of the loan into the interest rate, as opposed to requiring our members to find cash that they really don't have in the first place while they're requesting this working capital support. So you can see the effect of all of this.
Yeah.
So the last question, Hugh Cliff, is it legal or ethical for the government to be charging any business person that sells on an invoice basis and not on a collection basis to pay over taxation that has not been collected? Is it actually legal? Or I don't know. Is it ethical? It can be legal because the government made it. Is it ethical?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You plan to test it?
If I plan to do what?
Test it.
In court.
Well, we believe that the government will allow good sense to prevail and listen to us, which they have been. I must say that we are supposed to be meeting with the Minister of Finance. We were supposed to have the meeting last week, but it was rescheduled, so we are waiting the new date. So we believe that they're open to dialogue, and that is where we would want to take it.
Okay. Karima Munsi, for our viewers, Home Choice Enterprise. What do you do there? What is the product line?
We are the innovators of the island industry. We make peppered shrimp, which has been benchmarked over 20 times. We make ginger extracts, sauces, condiments, and we are now in the export market, UK, Canada. But we started as a very micro enterprise for about 17 years.
I know your pepper shrimp.
We make a lot more. 35 SKUs.
You what?
35 SKUs, 35 different products.
Oh.
So most of our products are made to solve issues like ginger in a bottle, ginger extract, turmeric extract in a bottle. We have sorrel in a bottle, which is good for the holiday. So you no longer have to boil sorrel. We do it for you. We concentrate it. No sugar added.
Oh, okay. Where are you based?
We are based in Sunshine City, Portmore.
Oh.
For 25 years.
And your suppliers are from all over the island?
Our supplies are mostly local. We import only one product from overseas, which is Caribbean. So most of our imports are local.
So the shrimp, where you get the shrimp from?
It's from South Guyana and the Caribbean.
Oh, the shrimp is not Jamaican?
No.
Oh.
We could not sell if it was Jamaican.
Why?
The price, it would be 8 times. 1 pound of shrimp, it takes 8 pounds of shrimp to make 1 pound of dried shrimp. So definitely we could not sell.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Thank you for that free advertisement.
No. So all the shrimp, I think, they come from Saint-E.
No, man, no. We used to try that, but it was not enough. Yeah, there was not enough to supply the market, so no. But it's Caribbean. It's still home. So we support the local. I don't really export from anything and import from anywhere else except the Caribbean. Most of our imports are from the Caribbean.
The shrimp, is it your best moving product, best selling product?
It was overtaken by the ginger in a bottle, which is our ginger extract, and we co-pack for 7 companies in the UK and Canada. But one of the biggest problems we are having is the larger companies are actually coming in, the male-dominated companies. They're actually competing with us on the market to take us out. So we are having issues with that in the last 2 months of this year.
You mean the ginger in a bottle?
The ginger extract in a bottle, yes. So the larger companies are benchmarking us hard. So
explain that. What are they doing?
Our suppliers are actually going into ginger extract production, which is conflict of interest. So suppliers of certain fragrances, and so they're actually going into flavors, are actually going into the business. Our former co-packers, very popular co-packers, when we couldn't export because we didn't have FDA regulations, they are now into the ginger extract production massively, and they're going after our customers in the U.S. So we are having a big issue with that. Yeah, so, but that's our largest. But nevertheless, Home Choice create an industry for the country. So we are happy for that the industry is going well.
So the ginger extract is a liquid form of the ginger?
Yes, it's ginger and yes.
Oh.
So you can get it in any store, and as I said, we solve the problem of the housewife.
Yeah, my house uses a lot of ginger.
Give them an idea of how much persons you employ, because we want
25. Yeah. So we employ 60. We employ our business. Cliff, our business got a kick off during COVID, and it was really good. It was the first time we started a double shift, and we are doing
during COVID.
During COVID, it was the first time our business took off, and it has been on that trajectory period, like 25% to 40% increase in sales. So we are doing well with the ginger, turmeric, and extract. So that is our best product.
But why COVID helped you?
Because the persons needed to get better, so they gravitate to grabbing a bottle of ginger.
Makes sense.
Yes,
makes sense.
Yes. And you source your ginger here in Jamaica?
Yeah, and some of it is here, and then that's what we are doing now. We're actually planting out a couple acres in working with the government to plant out acreage of ginger and turmeric.
So you can't get enough ginger in Jamaica?
We can't get enough, no, because of the rhizome disease. But we are solving that issue now. The government is solving that.
What is it?
That's a whole different topic, though.
Yes, but me interested. What is the turnaround time for growing ginger and delivering to you?
It can be a year, 6 months to a year. Yeah, but we are working on a special project with Watchman University in the U.S. to provide plants and roots.
Yes.
So tubers, so that they can grow faster and they will be more receptive to insects and stuff. Insect won't be able to affect it, the rhizome disease.
And what does it need to thrive?
Ginger just need semi moist land, not too dry.
Oh, interesting. We need to sit down with you and do a whole series with you, Karima.
Yeah, man. I don't want to take up this portion, but we need a GCG reform,
yes.
And that needs to be looked on. I also work with the JME as well, so we need to join all the MSMEs together and see how best we can be stronger together.
Okay. Karima Munsi is Managing Director of Home Choice Enterprise Limited, and Antoinette Hamilton is President of the Micro, Small and Micro Enterprise Alliance. Thank you very much, ladies. All the best.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
very
you for
much.
having me.
Have a good day.
Good. After the break, your calls, your feedback. What happened at the stadium, or not the stadium, the arena yesterday? The numbers to call us, 876-630-93714 or 876-618-8255.
Nation's Business was brought to you by BH Paints. Paint it, love it with BH Paints.
Get it all in one go. Download and sign up now. The time by the 1JN Passport app is
2 minutes after 7.
The Watchman. Exploring issues shaping our society, government, and business. Provocative, unconventional. Dr. Henley Morgan is The Watchman.
Good evening. What's there about our men to celebrate? November 19 is celebrated annually as International Men's Day to recognize and honor the significant contributions of men to society, families, communities, and country. Not wanting to rain on their parade, so to speak, I purposely delayed broadcast of this edition of The Watchman until the day had passed. You see, in my estimation, there is little or nothing about the Jamaican male to celebrate. One may go as far back to the books like Edith Clarke's My Mother Who Fathered Me, 1957, Errol Miller's Marginalization of the Black Male, 1986, and Men at Risk, 1991, the late Barry Chevan's Learning to Be a Man, 2001, or to the publications of contemporary researchers and workers in the field like Herbert Gale and Horace Levy. Allowing for differences in treatment of the subject, all point to an incontrovertible fact. Jamaican males are in crisis. Let's examine the extent of the crisis with the help of the Statistical Institute of Jamaica, Statin. In the 2011 census, the population in Jamaica by gender was males 1,332,700, or 49.3%, and females 1,373,100, or 50.7%. Almost even. Yet, females did better than males measured by almost every key indicator. Life expectancy at birth. Males, 68.6 years. Females, 75.3 years. Literacy rates for persons 15 years old and over. Males, 80.6%, and females, 90.8%. Student enrollment at the tertiary level. Males, 31.4%. Females, 68.6%. Victims of homicide. Males, 90%. Females, 10%. Perpetrators of homicide. Persons arrested. Males, 98%. Females, 2%. In the 13 years since these statistics were compiled, it is a safe bet that the crisis has deepened. The first step towards solving the crisis is to acknowledge that we do have a crisis, the magnitude, scope, and complexity. Second, we must accept that though there are some to be blamed for the wrong political and social choices of the last 60 plus years that led to the crisis, we are all responsible for getting us out of the mess. Third, government must give the highest priority to solving the problems confronting youth generally and young adult males in particular. In keeping with Vision 2030 National Development Plan Goal number 1, which states Jamaicans are empowered to achieve their fullest potential. Fourth, solving crime must move away from almost total reliance on punitive, after-the-fact policing strategies, which puts resources into the wasteful activity of labeling and attempting to eliminate the proverbial bad seed. The country must find the resources and the will to adopt a comprehensive set of programs to rehabilitate and normalize persons at risk to antisocial behavior and to strengthen the institutions, especially schools, that serve them, starting in toxic, marginalized communities, the so-called garrisons, where the problems are concentrated. Failing that, our men will continue killing us. There is nothing in that to celebrate. Think on these things.
Produced by Agency for Inner City Renewal, AIR, and recorded in the Jamming Studio Trenchtown, a breath of fresh air bringing change to the inner city.
You good, Mark? No, from where day me have these terrible heartburns. I don't know why. What kind of food you eating? To tell you the truth, I mostly eat fast food. I live alone and I'm too busy for cook my youth. That's your problem. You're eating too much processed food and building up trans fat. Trans fat? What that? Trans fat is a type of fat in a processed foods like fried chicken, fries, donuts, and them things there. So how that cause heartburn? So eating trans fat can cause acid reflux. So if you don't stop eat it or cut back on the amount you eat, things can get worse. Like what? You can get heart attacks, stroke, type 2 diabetes, or even die. But fats and oils no important for eat, my youth. Yes, but the healthy kind in a vegetable aisle, nuts and fish. Okay, I'm gonna switch up my diet starting today. Just remember to balance it out with your fresh fruits, vegetables, and ground provision.
A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
It's 4 weeks till Christmas, and Ascent Supercenter has everything you need to start your shopping now. Choose from our wide selection of decorations, lights, and Christmas trees. And don't forget to stop by this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for our 3-day pre-Christmas sale. And we're now open every Sunday till Christmas.
So this Christmas, make it Ascent Supercenter for sure.
It's a lifestyle.
Are you ready? Join us on November 28th from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the University of the Commonwealth Caribbean's Youth Day. Enjoy our Business Expo, get expert leadership advice, and explore diverse program offerings. Join a live panel discussion on youth leadership in the digital age and many more exciting presentations. You don't want to miss this. UCC's Youth Day, November 28th, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. 17 Worthington Avenue, Kingston 5. For more information, visit ucc.edu.jm.
Are you ready to turn your sales and marketing skills into high earnings? Nationwide 90FM is searching for business development executives to build lasting client relationships. If you have experience across all stages of the sales cycle and possess strong communication, negotiation, and time management skills with a proven sales track record, this opportunity is perfect for you. Join our team and work with the top corporate brands, media agencies, and of course, our on-air personalities. Enjoy networking opportunities, professional growth, and competitive commissions. Ready to take the next step? Send your resume to HR@nationwidenewsnetwork.com today.
Improving Improving our relationship with you.
The Passport, Immigration and Citizenship Agency, PICA, is improving its relationship with you, our valued customer. Our new customer relationship management system will help us to better understand your needs, communicate with you, and address your issues faster. Contact us online and let us help you. The new system is a joint project of PICA and the Transformation Implementation Unit.
Improving our relationship.
Building a better public sector for all.
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies including plugs, switches, panel boards and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer, and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
12 minutes after 7, we're taking your call, 630-9371-4, 618-8255. Faithful, good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Good evening, Mr. Good evening, Cliff.
Good evening.
Okay, yeah. Pertaining to the conference yesterday, I think one thing that was always, I put it this way, last year conference, I think it was lackluster with energy. Put into this year conference, it have a lot of more energy, and you can see we have the people more energized. So that was always PAP over the JP with their conference, because PAP conference was almost energized, and our one so was not so energized. So in that perspective, that is very good. My advice, I think they should take the advice of Rosalie and Mr. Montague. If they do such things, I think they will far better off. And because I think those two persons more than anybody speak to the real issue that affecting them and a whole. And I also believe that what they need to do also, the MP whosoever not having a good relationship with the council, because at the end of the day, it is people who is on the ground that is where the real fight, and we're back gonna win or loss. That's this too. Anyway, I just leave it at that.
All right, thanks, Faithful. Omalo, good evening.
Yeah, good evening. Good evening, Ricardo. Good evening, Cliff.
Good evening, Omalo.
Cliff, let me put a analogy to you. Say, for instance, you're living with a woman, yeah? And
you sound muffled, Omalo.
Yeah, hearing me?
Yes, better.
Yeah, say, for instance, you're living with a woman, and you are providing the bills, you're taking care of all the bills and stuff like that. You really can't go on vacation and all those stuff, and she start over a period of time getting frustrated, feeling a certain way, like, this is really not for her. Do you keep telling her what you're doing, or do you find somewhere to find hope to tell her, to give her, so that she can feel like there's going to be something better for her to stay around?
What do you think?
What me think?
Mm-hmm.
The same thing where you are think. The same way we are.
Which is what?
Just find ways to give her, for her to feel there is hope. Yeah? There is greater hope along the way, and give her, stop talking about the things that I am doing that really she's not responding to, or it is really not making her feel any better than she's feeling. Mm-hmm. And that's what goes with the Jamaica Labour Party right at this moment. They keep talking about what they are doing, while the people keep saying, you are telling me to feel good, but I am not feeling good. If the Jamaica Labour Party do something like this, say there is a process in transitioning to the hope that we all wish for, and walk them through the process, rather than telling them to feel good about something that they are not good about. This is what...
But Omala, is that fair though? Because it's not exactly what the Prime Minister has been doing.
You mean since lately?
No, not since lately. He has always
Since
been on.
when?
He has always been on that message that
Telling the people what
That
the people what they are doing? We have a macroeconomy is doing good, and we are
Right,
growing. And
but also
that's what I heard.
right, but also saying why it is so important to get that right, so that we can realize gains
It's telling
and make
me this is the
investments.
reason why we're supposed to get it right, and this is what tell me how it's going to transition into the hope
Okay, I
that
see.
we are searching for.
Okay.
And that is what we need to do. They need to start talking, explaining to the people, talk to the people, rather than tell the people what they are supposed to feel. I asked you a question already, Is it better to feel something rather than somebody tell me I'm feeling it?
Hear you, Malo.
That's true.
That's true.
Yeah? So these are the things that you say. There's a lot of strategy, If you don't hear me talk about these things, I'll come back and talk, because they're really these people turn off their ears, The Jamaica Labour Party people them turn off them ears, and now them start turning it on, Cliff. Them turn it off. They never want to listen to nobody. They are government.
Is it too late for them?
It's not too late, but they're not the strategy how they're going about things, Cliff, especially even Warmington and them. Those are failure. Those are not winning strategy.
Mm-hmm.
One of the biggest winning strategies that I've seen them using, Cliff.
What?
And and I think even what's his name that works right at this moment.
Robert Morgan.
I think that he wasn't good for works at this point.
Why do you say
The
that?
biggest winner the JLP have right at this moment is Darrell Vaz. Throughout the burial and the electric thing, even the PMP support Darrell Vaz.
Mm-hmm.
Darrell Vaz is the biggest winner. Darrell Vaz talking to the Jamaican people and the Jamaican people side, and they are relating to him. What's his name should be out in the street selling the road work, not waiting for it to start, but selling it, making the people see the hope before the hope starts.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know what them are do, Cliff. Them tell them to calm me, man. Get some money and calm me, man.
You don't know you're supposed to find your party, man.
Cliff, it wasn't a party when Edward Siaga was in power.
Mm.
It was my party when Edward Siaga was in. Cliff, I'm going to say something, and I work for people now like it. You see what Dr. Nigel Clark, what he has done in terms of the economy to a certain extent. The PMP couldn't have done it for themselves to get the clout that they are getting right at this moment.
Explain that.
Cliff, you cannot in a house building a good credit card while the kids and the wife and everybody are complaining that they don't have things.
Mm.
You cannot in the house building a good credit card while the family is complaining that the food shelf is empty. That
what is the alternative, Omalo?
We have a good credit card. We're good, man. We can take care of our bills, man. We are work to get we are pay down the house mortgage and them things, so our credit card can strong, man.
So what is the alternative? Is it just to start
Can't
spending?
tell the alternative right now. They want to call me and have some money to call me and talk to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Omalo.
Okay.
He said something that is true. Darrell Vaz has become quite the populist in terms of how he has dealt with his portfolio, always coming across as being the champion of the people on the side of the little man against the big man.
Mm-hmm.
He has effectively positioned himself in that way. That is true.
Post-burial.
Yes, that is true.
Mm-hmm.
Cleveland, good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Ricardo and Mr. Hughes.
Good evening, Mr. Cleveland.
Sometimes I hear that people are not talk about the little man and the big man.
Yes.
Now, care what we do, the country can't do without the big man, Now, care what we do and say, we have to have the big man.
But you understand
we
though.
beat upon them too much.
No, but you understand though, Cleveland, that where the ordinary Jamaican feels like you're fighting for them, that gives you kudos, that gets you points. You think that's fair? You don't think that's fair?
I'm sure if it's that fair.
Okay, all right. You did that conference yesterday?
No, unfortunately, I never get to read.
You go
Because
church.
Guess what? I usually go in the afternoon, and my son was busy yesterday. And by the time I leave church and come home, come change my clothes. Because I couldn't go in my church clothes.
You have to put on
The
your
rain
green
start
shirt.
fall. The rain start fall. And say, my mom, but I leave the house. I mean, I enjoy what was coming on TV. I tell you the truth.
Okay.
I really feel good to see what was taking place. And all of them beat up on the JLP over the weekend. God know me the feel away say. No, now go happen. Mr. Use the beat up on JLP. But them divided and what have you.
No, I never hear clips of that. I never hear.
Samuda,
No,
Mr.
Cleveland.
Samuda was
No.
there, you know.
I never hear clips of the JLP was divided. He never said
Samuda
that.
was there. Well, in things. So if you follow these things sometimes, you see. But sometimes the way on put over the thing, man, and make it look as if, well, the JLP going to have a rough time to get people to come to the conference. But trust me. Trust me. And this is telling me, sir, the JLP is on its way for the third term. Hear what them want to do. And I hear people is saying, well, actual election coming, why them announcing these goodies. Make them know that political parties in this thing to win election, you know.
Yes.
Right.
And political parties in government. Yes. Time goodies. Yes. And policy deliverables to win elections.
Yes.
Yes.
So any time they can announce these goodies, is the same thing, right?
Yeah.
But I was happy. And the next thing I really noticed when Mr. Owen is talking, you notice the people them sit there still and stopping up everything I'm saying.
I noticed
the
on
that
Sunday.
Don't leave out and go to do.
Yes, I noticed on Sunday the overwhelming majority of the Labourites stayed until the very end. Yes?
They stay right to the end.
Mm-hmm.
You see, usually when it touch down to the last part, people gone to them bus and all them things. Not happen yesterday.
Yes. So
And
Cleveland, go ahead.
I suspect that was because the speech, it didn't
wasn't long.
and it didn't
No,
come
they weren't
across
long.
as a lecture.
Yes.
It was simply, here is what has happened, here's what
It
we're
was
going
on
to do for
point,
you.
man.
Yes, yeah, I suspect that's
know?
why. So you didn't get exhausted by it.
Yes.
So Cleveland,
Yes, sir.
nobody now listen, just me and you thought now. What to Samuda and what going in the North Central St. Andrew?
Well, since the second whatever it was, because guess what? Your people asked a question at the press briefing. And Dr. Chang answered. What else him could I do? Him said, well, we know that Mr. Samuda had indicated that he would step aside. He would be running back. I'm trying to hear Mr. Samuda get upset. You know, that these things are announced before him even know. And then everybody run with it. It's just because you people did say it the morning, but nobody else say it who doing news. That as a question was asked by the press. You see?
Yes.
But then now I can understand it as Mr. Samuda well involved in conference, and then I hear that them have a party meeting in the constituency, and choose somebody
On Saturday
to take
night.
over from him. Yes.
It's Delano Seawright they've elected.
Yes.
As the vice chairman of the
And that one
constituency.
surprised me.
Why?
I didn't know that Mr. Wright was so close up, you know, in the constituency. And, you know, I'm sure Mr. Samuda would have to agree.
Yes, yes.
You know.
Well, he endorsed him, I gather, in the at the meeting.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes.
So
So
it
the
seems like
party-
it's going to be Delano Seawright.
Yes.
But don't
yes.
they have to have a selection contest now? Don't they?
I'm not sure.
Because,
Yes,
you know,
maybe.
there's somebody else interested in it, you know.
Oh.
You
I
know
don't
Cleveland.
No, I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know. I don't know.
I hear
But-
Tom Tavares' son Christian is also interested in it.
Okay, yes, as you call that name. Yeah.
You think Cleveland is it?
No,
Cleveland don't want to liberate Mrs. Cleveland.
Yes, I remember.
Cleveland say yes, as you call that name.
I tell you the truth, I was wondering if Tom Finson would be the one.
Oh.
But I said, no, I'm an old man. I was saying, can't manage. You know, I'm a more old man to take over them more seating at the place now.
Oh.
Dwayne Smith.
Yes.
I feel bad for him.
Why?
When I say I
Why?
feel bad, I mean I feel bad for him.
Why?
Mr. Hughes, a whole constituency. Remember, it's not a divisional contest, you know. It's a whole constituency.
Yes.
And then come out with just 1,000 odd vote.
1,900.
It shows that something was wrong with what people is saying.
Yes.
Although I don't really want to talk against him publicly in that sense, you know. But
Well, Cleveland, I addressed it this morning, that was part of the results on Friday night that we missed.
Yeah.
That, listen, for a strong JLP seat like Northwest St. Andrew, to have a 6% turnout, 6%.
Yes,
Yeah?
man, it's bad.
It tells you that the labor rights there are not
bad.
infused by whether it is Mr. Smith or whatever, but they are not infused. And you heard the whisperings.
Well,
it's a place I go to all the while, and I have a whole heap of friends inside there. And
Hello.
they tell me they're not pleased with Mr. Smith.
No. And Mark, I walk with some people because Chancellor is my walking era.
Uh-huh.
Right? And I walk with Chancellor people.
Yes.
And trust me, is this argument 24/7 as you go along.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah.
And then they're not pleased of him. And I would advise that boy him better turn over a new leaf. Nobody try to go there on the strength of his father or anything. Go and do something for himself.
Well, the party and the government will have to rally behind him between now and the remaining months to shore him up inside there.
Yes.
Because 6.2% turnout tell you that's
no,
something
look,
alright.
It's bad.
Yes.
It's bad. If then did have one sensible, young, bright somebody that run against him as independent, probably in a loser seat.
Same thing, Mr. Cleveland.
Same
thing, Mr. this morning.
It's true. When the councillor that were there before him, Levy, Joel,
Mm-hmm.
Anywhere you turn in the era, they talk about Joel, how good he was.
Yes.
You see?
Mm-hmm.
And when we have to start going to meetings, when them have, what I call them meeting now, where these people meet within the era.
Citizens Association. Uh-huh.
They call and they're not hearing from him and him don't return call. And I tell to hear that, you know, every day morning that singing on my ears.
Oh.
You see?
Yes.
I really feel bad.
Mm-hmm.
You know, such an important constituency, just that amount of people come out and vote. Not him never even get the amount when when them have this municipal election.
Oh dear.
You know, I'm not going to do better, man. And I hope the government, the Prime Minister looking into it, and him needs help, whole heap of help.
Whole heap of help.
Whole heap of help. I wouldn't want that seat to change on.
Mm-hmm.
No, sir. No, sir.
All right, Cleveland.
All right.
Good. I said this morning when I said it, you know.
Yeah.
Some of the labor rights them come after me. Here Cleveland come say no. Mm-hmm.
Young comrade, good evening.
Good evening, sirs.
How are you, my friend?
I'm good, man.
You see you can get through if you call more often?
Huh?
You see that you can get through if you call more often?
Well, I know, sir. I just come from a farm in a Clarendon. We just reached back at Kingston.
Where you farm?
Where?
Where? Where you farm? Where you farm?
Sweet pepper, plantain, sorrel. We're putting some tomato now and some carrot.
Oh, how many acres you have?
I have 7 acres, but I not use it all like it.
Okay. So how you manage with 2-foot posts?
Huh?
How you manage with 2-foot posts?
It's not prevalent. It's not prevalent in the area.
Okay. You have security down there?
Not necessarily. But just that the prayer larceny is not prevalent in that area.
Oh, good for you. Good. Yeah. And the market is there for all of your crops?
Well, I normally sell the stuff at Coronation Market.
Oh, you go down there and sell it yourself or you sell it to the vendors?
No, actually, my mother assists.
Okay. A family business?
Yeah, I guess you can call it so.
Okay. All right.
What's on your mind, young comrade?
Well, two things. I agree with, what was his name? Omaro.
Omalo.
Yeah, and I have to congratulate the PMP candidates that won in the by-elections on Friday, and the PMP executive who assisted in this process, because it's not necessarily easy to run against a government and win.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to congratulate them.
Yes.
But and also I think it's quite instructive, you know, that well, there are two elections, one with in Trelawney, where the independent candidate was able to get 1,400 votes. An independent candidate, a sole individual by himself against a government, and he got 1,400 votes. I think that is instructive or something, you know.
Was he truly independent though?
Huh?
Was he truly independent though?
No, he has antecedents with the PMP.
And the
but that
JLP.
doesn't necessarily mean that
And the JLP too?
Yeah, and that doesn't necessarily mean that the PMP supported him in any way.
But he has a base in the constituency. Wasn't he a councillor too? Or he ran
Yeah,
as a
man, but
councillor?
we have seen councillors come and run, you know, and barely scrape a vote.
But, young comrade, what does it mean that in Morant Bay, for example, your margin was reduced from February?
Significantly?
Yes. What
More
does
than
that mean?
halved.
Because the labor rights are telling me that is a sign that your party is actually slipping.
No, I don't necessarily agree, you know, because the government controls trillions of dollars, and in these by-elections, you know, it is the government and the resources of the government versus whosoever decides to turn up on the day. The PMP is not in power, and the PMP does not control as significant resources as the government do. So at the end of the day, the fight between the government and the PMP prevailing is really a good sign.
Mm-hmm.
So I even for the win by one, I wouldn't really watch the numbers, because this will not be replicated in a next local government election where the government now has to spread the resources across 100 divisions or whatever. It will not be replicated.
Mm-hmm.
And they say there are no second prizes in politics. A win is a win, eh?
Yeah,
If you win by one, you win.
Yeah. The JLP won by one seat, you know.
Yes.
What was it, 2016, I think?
2016, yes.
2016 February. Yes.
Yeah, man.
Mm-hmm.
So, a win is a win.
So where you going to run, young comrade? Where you eyeing?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
No, man, I'm not necessarily eyeing anywhere to run at this present time. Politics takes a lot of money, and I am not so endowed right now.
Okay. But you're keeping your feet in the process, so you have your
I mean, I like the politics, and I really like the politics.
What about it do you like?
The politics.
What about it do you like?
For me, I like economics, and I like the whole excitement of the politics. And as I said, when I agree with Omar earlier, a while ago, where you were saying that they can't pay attention to, I think you were speaking of a household, they can't just pay attention to good credit and not pay attention to the family. Because as it is now, you know, we're not paying down debt, we're servicing debt. Because paying down will be instructive that debt will be reducing. That is not necessarily reducing, it is increasing actually.
No, sir. No, sir.
Yeah.
No.
The thing about it, you know, is that
that's not true.
There has been some growth in GDP.
Uh-huh.
So because of the growth in GDP, it caused the debt to GDP ratio to have some difference.
But we have been paying down the debt faster than now we have been increasing the GDP.
I checked on the figures, you know. I can't quote them right now. You know.
Me can't quote them for you.
You can always
check.
check.
I don't play to quote them.
Well, to cut it in 10 years, 11 years, in half?
No, man. No, I mean, I checked on debt for 2023 as opposed to debt 2024.
Mm-hmm.
And the 2024 was more than the 2023. I think last year
that's not how debt is measured.
58 billion.
Sir.
And this year went to about 220.
Sir, if you're interested in economics, you have to learn this. Yeah? There's nothing inherently wrong in having a debt. What is wrong is what you use the debt to do.
No, I'm not against having debt.
Exactly. Therefore, it follows that your debt, yes, is a function of your capacity to repay it. And that is why it is linked to your GDP. Because when you grow your GDP, it means whatever you're borrowing, you are increasing your ability to service that debt. And that is the key.
Yeah, but as I say, I don't see it as paying down debt. I see that just the debt being serviced.
No, sir, you're wrong. And I don't want no one listening to you to get that feeling. You're absolutely wrong. You're mistaken.
I'm willing to check back the figures.
No, it's not
and I would love for you guys to check the figures.
It's not the figures you need to check.
As I always
understand it.
As I always tell you, young comrade, when you come here and we have these discussions, check and come back. Because the last time is the same thing. And you were wrong then. So check and come back. All right?
I don't want you guys to check as well.
We will. And so when you come back, we can have the discussion. Thanks for the call, young comrade.
Good to have you.
I told him that he needs to become a frequent caller, and he started to call more frequently.
Okay, good.
Alric, good evening.
Good evening, Cliff. Good evening, Ricardo.
Good evening.
Mr. Hughes, when you came on this morning, and you mentioned Dwayne Smith, to something that I was thinking about, and when you said what you said, I said to myself, Cliff is going to come in for some heavy stick licking today. But I must congratulate Cleveland now, because Cleveland is listened to. And when Cleveland come and back up what you say now, I felt a lot better, because I said it over the weekend, and I spoke with Richie, I think, yesterday morning, and I told Richie about the two parish council seats. And what I would like to say about Mr. Smith is that if you're carrying any sort of confidence to a seat that your father had held for so long, and then a finance minister who had overperformed, and you get less than 2,000 votes.
In fact, it was very surprising to me. Yeah, when I saw the preliminary figures at 2:00, and I actually asked that we call the director because I thought it must be wrong.
Yes.
So I agree. It was shocking to me. It really
shocking.
was.
So Cleveland is right. Cliff was right this morning, but I was worried about him and what was going to come back at him from the YouTubers and so. But when Cleveland come now and admit to it, you have to give Cleveland his props, because he's a person that try to balance the thing most of the time, and he said it now, and I think a lot of the pressure will come out Mr. Hughes back, because a lot of people will say,
what pressure?
What
pressure? You think I allow them?
They come at you.
They come at me. They come at me every day.
Me, them never come at you.
They did, but me don't see it as pressure. No, me don't see it as pressure. They come after me every day. At 10 o'clock, then sit down and then set them, press the record button. Yeah? Yes. And depending on what me say, they cut it, and one side use it to promote themselves, or to lick out against the other side.
All right. The other Ricardo and Cliff, the other seat in Trelawny now.
Yes.
I want you guys to listen to me good now. Mrs. Dalrymple gained a lot of votes. But our opponent, who is no heavyweight to me, because he was a councillor before and he has run, I think, if I'm right, Mr. Hughes, and you can back me up, he has run for both political parties already.
That's my understanding.
That's my understanding. And he's not a Padmore.
Mm-hmm.
So if he can garner so much vote, did you see nomination day? The crowd that Mrs. Dalrymple ran into and the PNP said they weren't running?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's a seat. I heard you talking this man that Pride Green seat is a seat to be watched, Mr. Hughes, which is normally where the country swings if that seat goes to any party. Well, I'm going to ask you tonight now on record. You said that Dalrymple seat, watch it too. Because if that man could garner so much votes, and Mrs. Dalrymple opponent,
you should also bear in mind. You should also bear in mind where that is concerned, that Mrs. Dalrymple's supporters would know that she didn't have the PNP contesting against her.
I know.
Yeah, and they wouldn't really put out the effort that they knew they would have had to if the PNP were contesting. But that is not to take away from the point that the independent candidate, Mr. Gillings is his name, did well.
All right.
Did well.
All right. And so that means, Mr. Hughes, it will be a constituency that you need to watch, because the PNP would have been energized by the results of Friday. And the candidate that is going up against her has his own resources too. So it is a matter, if you love to say, who get out the voters on the day, because the ballots are only important when they go into the box.
At this moment, Alric, yes, the next general elections are going to be close. Yes? I don't know what it will be a month or two from now. But at this moment, if there were a contest, actual voting, it would be anybody's race.
Well, the last time I called it 4 out, the JLP got 4 more than I thought. Around January, February, I'll give you my thoughts. You're on Ricardo. But it will be an interesting election.
All right, Alric.
All right, guys, have a good evening, guys.
Okay, good.
Dwayne Smith represented Chancery Hall, right?
Yes.
1,210 votes he netted in February 2024 in a single division. And across the entire constituency, in the by-election, he netted 1,900?
Yes, 970, I think.
Those are blaring warning signs.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is alarming, actually.
And I know that some senior Labourites are very concerned about it.
That is alarming.
Yes, they are very concerned about it, because it tells you that the level of antipathy towards him is such that they could not convince 15-20% of the base of the Labour Party to come out. And we know the votes are there for the Labour Party. Clark got 6,566 in 2020. He got 1,800, 900. 30% of what Clark got. Yes.
And if a general election is close, you don't want to have to be spending resources to shore up a seat that should be safe and secure.
Right.
Yeah.
And what it also says, and I said it this morning, if the PNP as an opposition was clicking in terms of its political intelligence, yes, they could have engineered a better candidate to run as independent, and it could have been devastating for the Labour Party. Yeah?
Carl, good evening.
Evening, Ricardo. Evening, Sayus.
Evening, Carl.
Thank you very much, Ricardo, for energize the Jamaica Labour Party base.
Me?
They never stop calling say base is too sleepy until you get the base to river, boy. Thank you very much, Ricardo.
You give me too much credit.
Anyhow, Ricardo.
Yes, sir.
What a coincidence for the IC to put out Golden Integrity Commission yesterday during the Prime Minister was speaking.
That one they wouldn't miss your call.
What a set of Jamaica people we are, so full IC. All of us except the IC who is inside the IC. All of us is idiot. IC. Thank you very much, IC. While you are playing the politics, Mr. Pantan. Mr. Pantan is playing the raw politics.
I don't know if it's
that
Mr.
is-
Pantan
yeah,
have
I don't
anything
know,
to do with
that's-
that.
Yeah.
But I don't know why Mr. Pantan don't put on for him or
No.
And also, look how you're drawing attention to it. It sort of went below the radar, you know. Your conference kind of overshadowed it, and you had come draw attention to it.
Well,
and don't blame Mr. Pantan for that. Mr. Pantan don't get into that level of when you're going to publish this or when you're not going to publish that. No.
That's more operational.
All right. Did you see you can go online now, but see, what you go there and find in a leader of the opposition constituency today. I hope Simon hear about it.
When?
Simon.
When?
Sometime today, because I was on the Gleaner website this evening.
Oh?
Yes. The leader of the opposition in a film constituency and find some gun. Because like how you used to advertise in a Mr. Siago constituency and find some gun in the British citizen constituency today. It was on the Gleaner website and I come home and checked it. You have to keep yourself up to date on Mr. Hughes. Politics time now.
Yeah.
Anyhow, yesterday...
Just for the record, 3 high-powered weapons recovered over the last 10 days in St. Andrews South. But I don't know if it's the constituency or if it's a broad division. You have to be careful about that.
Yeah.
Because the southern division is larger than St. Andrews South.
By tomorrow, I'm like to ask Simon if we ask Mr. Golding about the gun them. Like when they say when I come for party, I must ask Andrew Golding. That's fool. Anyhow, Mr. Hughes,
yes,
I was at conference yesterday, and Mr. Wallace gave me a lot of work to be done. We try to find those young people to see that they can get the 20,000. Let me have to start from yesterday. When we come home yesterday, we check a house as me reach my yard and me ask. Because me give an instruction before me leave, and people was watching the conference. And when we come home one day, and I'm a young soldier, me say, this year we are getting money for Christmas. I say, no. Couldn't expect this up quick, so I'm glad to know someone was listening. So me have to go make certain, say, no, me go out, find them, get them ready. So next year come, they can get themselves ready to get the 20,000. Because you know me are going to need them sometime next year. So me have to put in myself. And here, Carissa, the one that did turn up to KD night in the Senate. That young lady is going somewhere in a Jamaica Labour Party. Can't say where she's going yet.
Carencia.
Okay. The Caris, yeah. She's going somewhere. I sit yesterday and I listen every word that she said yesterday. And it was a proper thinking around what she was bringing to the parliament. And then Mrs. Holness, Prime Minister wife, never made no fun of calling the ladies them to the Jamaica Labour Party. She reached out for them. She sell herself, and she continued to tell the ladies them, say, see a party here, we don't have to go for Portland and go catch no fish. Come here, son. Because sometimes we don't have nothing to do for a weekend. We can't take a far drive with you who can't go catch 2 fish up at Portland and relax yourself and think about it. Because Mr. Vaz, you go for fishing and see up there. Can't catch when you go wide. But Mr. Hughes,
then let me ask you now. Me want to ask you a question. Me want to ask you a question now. Yes? Because you come here and you talk and promote your party. Why want to lose in town? After I want to win it by 92 in February, I want to come and lose it now by 54. And tell me, say, because it was always PNP.
No,
want to win it.
Mr. Hughes,
yes.
Speak the truth.
Yes,
all I big people in the Jamaica Labour Party went to St. Thomas and left only country and me of them down here. You have to speak the truth.
No, sir. I saw Wheatley up in town.
Mr. Hughes,
yes.
We did have 2 more big guns down here.
But I saw Wheatley up there. I saw the Prime Minister was up there.
The Prime Minister. You know, Mr. Hughes, sometimes you know I want to go there, so but me tell you something. Our deputy leader saw things that was happening right in front of him and didn't call nobody from inside the EOJ to postpone the election. Right in front of him. And you can call him any day tomorrow and ask
Who
him.
that? Which deputy leader that?
For us in Clarendon. Yeah.
Who that?
Mikey Stern.
Oh, he witnessed things that were...
Could have stopped election.
Oh.
And he did nothing.
Why would an experienced politician and deputy leader of the Labour Party, deputy leader for that area council,
Mr. Hughes,
why would he have done that?
Mr. Hughes, the $5,000 them, nobody was hiding them in the line against Mr. Hughes.
But
me here say only that give it to.
Do it, right?
And the deputy leader was there when time we even reach out and call to him. What is happening? The deputy leader did nothing.
But none of them alone would have give a 5,000 call. Who
Mr.
never
Hughes,
give a $5,000 bill to?
Mr. Hughes, Mr. Hughes, me not go say to my side never do it. But Mr. Hughes, this was too public, Mr. Hughes. Right there, Friday. And when I even a young girl, sometimes you nothing want. Even when a young girl from out of Sandy Bay saw what was happening, and from the head of the opposition, saw what was happening, she dashed some water. That's what's happening.
She dashed water upon who? She dashed water upon somebody?
You will soon hear everything, Mr. Hughes.
Oh, please. Are you should dash the water upon Carl?
No, Mr. Hughes. No, Mr. Hughes. You will soon hear who get a cup of water in their face.
A cup? Can't be holy for water that.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, the deputy leader stand there and saw what was taking place and did nothing to it. And me hear young comrade talk. PMP Dan Anderson said PMP are lead by 9 points.
No. Mr. Anderson is the managing director of Market Research Services.
All right. Dan Anderson
He
said
does
PMP
polling.
lead
He
by
does polling for the
9.
PNP and for other people.
Dan Anderson said PMP are lead by 9.3%. And barely come to us St. Thomas. And as I said, Dan Anderson, poll this what you want to tell it.
No. It doesn't say that.
Well, Mr. Hughes, if it's PMP, you'll take a wake up and look on what happened up at St. Thomas. And
Well, why are you worried about PNP waking up? You need to wake up. Only need to wake up.
Mr. Hughes, Mr. Hughes.
Yes.
Ricardo, wake up the base of the Jamaica Labour Party.
I saw you big, right? Ricardo. Well, me know you're big, but...
Mr. Hughes.
All me do I tell Carl,
Ricardo,
stop live by
never
PMP name.
Ricardo never stop tell me other people. So if you stay there, sit down.
Yeah.
I may tell you so, Mr. Hughes. Now, let you in a Labour right something come here, Cleveland, no, let you in a while. Mr. Hughes, worry yourself. You tell somebody something this morning. So then if you sit down and relax, and if you JLP continue upon the same strength, I think, when you get 49, relax. Relax little, in the whole land. Like, you know, things say under decoration, I got able to take you into Jamaica house. And everybody are idiot in a Jamaica.
All right,
and
Carl.
Everybody are idiot. Yes. Well, thank you very much, Ricardo.
All right. I hope you can keep Southeast Clarendon for you and Purnell.
Bookman, good evening. No, not hearing Bookman. Oh, boy. Carl, something else, you know. Something else.
The politicians. Anyway, that's it, you know. That's it. No more time.
All right,
no more calls. That's it. We want to say thanks to all of our callers and our YouTubers. Yeah, some of them going off. Yeah, Oren. Yeah, man. Some of them still accost me. The Drummond. What Drummond she is, or he is, Kathleen Drummond. Good evening, Miss Kathleen. Heard you loud and clear. Clover Forrester. She says red card, long time female always worry about PNP. Him a go mad. Mark Green's word. Yes? Said, Cliff, you're right. Ricardo turn the NNN at 5 in a big show. Oh, please. It was always a big show.
You know, get what I say?
What?
You're slow, old man, you're slow.
Oh, please.
Sonia Stewart, thank you so much. Andrew Glenn Anderson, thank you, my brother. Or editor Cara Powell, who leads the best newsroom in the nation. I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Cliff Hughes, reminding you, take care of your loved one and look out for your neighbor. Good night.
Good night.
KFC Pop